No, I think we should talk about politics at the start. Hey! No. So, for those of you who haven't been following the story, in England about 2 or 3 months ago, we had this thing where we got everyone to vote on something so complicated that nobody knew any of the things. It was called Brexit, and the decision was, should Britain leave the EU? I said no, because there wasn't actually an exit strategy. We literally didn't know how. They were just, if we leave, we'll have £1 million for this, and immigrants will fuck off, and Britain will be like the 1960s again. And everyone was like, and then there was a vote, and then because of all the lies, slander, and more lies and slander, it went to the we should leave the EU side, and now we're suffering. The pound is the lowest it's been.
I like to point out,
31 years.
52% to leave to 48 to stay, which is a very close.
Yeah. It's 37% of the country, though.
Yeah.
37% of this country voted to leave the EU, and therefore we're leaving the EU. But what that's meant is that England has become home to quite a fair bit of xenophobia recently. The current Prime Minister, Theresa May, unelected, was, her party was elected, but she wasn't.
She wasn't elected. The previous Prime Minister resigned, and
she ate him. And she ate all comers, and then she sleeps in their skins.
This is really something that we need to sort out in England sooner or later, because it's been happening way, way, way too much over the last few decades. We've had 3 times over the last 5 governments, we've had someone halfway through just say, screw it. You know what? Someone else will be Prime Minister without bothering with an election.
Should be an election, yeah.
Like, how can we do that 3 out of 5 governments and not think, actually, you know what? We probably need to change this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's happened to the US once. I'm told this is how Gerald Ford became president. There was some chicanery with a vice president that wasn't originally on the ticket, and then the president, I don't know what happened to the previous president, he died or something. And this is how they got Gerald Ford. There was no election, but it's happened once in US history. And we've had it 3 times in 30 years.
The thing with the US, though, is when you vote for a president, you're also voting for the vice president. You know who the vice president is.
Exactly,
and you know that they will take over. You know specifically that person will take over. When people voted for Cameron, they didn't know May is going to take over if Cameron fucks off.
No. In fact, we thought it was probably going to be Boris Johnson, so we've probably dodged a bit of a bullet there, albeit we've dodged a big bullet for a slightly smaller bullet, but it's still a bullet.
No, if you have a mad axeman coming at you, would you rather have a vicious mad axeman or an idiot mad axeman?
I don't know.
Because the idiot could accidentally fall through the knife and kill you, but the vicious one's definitely never going to stop pursuing you.
May feels like the kind of person who ties you down, they get a small little knife and they slowly cut away at you, while Boris feels like he comes running in with a hammer and just sort of falls over.
No.
But the thing is, I'd run away from the woods from the crazy hammer man and go into the cabin with the sadistic knife woman. Because the sadistic knife woman, you will at least survive long enough that someone might come and rescue you. The hammer man's just going to kill you dead super fast. That's it, you're done. The sadistic knife woman's the way to go.
I disagree that she uses a knife. I think she'd actually use a potato peeler and just peel off and eat your skin in front of you. That's what Theresa May... That's a good image of
now you've
Theresa
put that
May.
image in my head, maybe I'm tempted by the hammer man again.
Yeah, you see, that's
now I'm
the
thinking,
thing.
actually, you know what, maybe I should just run, maybe I should just jump in the river.
But no, just imagine, right, Boris Johnson looking like Boris Johnson does, amusing like a clown.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a big, like a Harley Quinn-style comedy hammer, and he's just running at you through the woods, and then he just sort of falls over, and his face is covered in mud. That is Boris Johnson.
I think he'd show me mercy because I can speak Latin, and he'd respect that.
Well, I think you just outrun him, really.
That's true, I'd also do that.
Can you speak any foreign languages?
French relatively well.
He'd hack you to bits. Sorry, that's EU. Sorry.
Actually, I could distract him with Claire, because she's proper French, so he'd totally want to kill her first.
Oh yeah, it's like running away from a bear. You don't need to beat the bear, you just need to beat your friend.
Don't kill me, kill her!
I have a wife and kids, kill them!
I'm from England, I'm posh, leave me alone.
Yeah, so that vote happened, and it was fun and misinformed, and now we're reeling from the things, and the Tory government with a brand new leader, David Cameron, resigned like the cowardly fuckbag that he was. Instantly, the whole Brexit vote came out because he only put that in his manifesto to try and make the Tory party like him again. That was literally the only reason we're going through this is because David Cameron wanted to be friends.
Can we also
he
focus
probably-
on one other mad thing, which is David Cameron specifically resigned saying that because the country chose Brexit, therefore it needed Brexit leadership and it wouldn't be right for a Remainer to lead the country. So he was replaced by a Remainer because nothing makes sense anymore.
But anyway,
Well,
Theresa
he
May
was
has come
right,
out.
he-
This is the important thing. Theresa May has come out and has basically gone, well, if you're not British, you can fuck off. Alright? The actual thing that they're saying is that if you are a doctor, this is the big one, if you're a doctor from the EU, you can stay until we can replace you with British workers. Now, the Daily Mail's wanked themselves silly over this thing. Their headline today was, "Oh, EU doctors are dangerous," because they've got to promote the thing. They've got to support the right wing. 15 days ago, literally 15 days ago, their headline was, "There aren't enough doctors for the NHS." Because the NHS doesn't have enough money. Because the Tories cut the money from the NHS. So the Tories have cut the money from the NHS, our National Health Service. There's not enough doctors because university is now £9,000 a year, going up to £12,000 a year. So nobody, and doctorate degrees much longer. So nobody wants to be a doctor. There aren't any doctors, and the only doctors we've just fucked off. Oh, and there isn't actually a health service underneath all that. Plus, it's mixed in with the wonderful xenophobia. If you're not British, you can fuck off. Mm-hmm. These are the people that are currently leading us.
See, the problem is the xenophobia is then causing actual proper racism.
Yeah.
It's creeping. Like, it'll start off with, oh, we just want companies to report on the percentage of foreign workers, to we'll provide
illegal.
tax...
That's literally illegal. That's the thing that the government just said.
Then it'll go into, we'll provide tax incentives for companies to have entirely British workforces. Then they'll go into more specific naming and shaming, and slowly it'll be... And over time, it'll just, by baby steps, you'll get to something very, very nasty and unpleasant and... things that historically haven't ended well. You get to them by baby steps. You don't you don't wake up one morning and someone says, we're going to murder all the Jews right now. Matt, no matter how you think this works, you take baby steps towards it, and if you don't stamp this shit out, you find yourself in very unpleasant places, very dangerous places very quickly.
Yeah.
Because we've had people started being killed. We've got, what was it? Was it the Polish guy who was killed on the street?
Yeah, we've had a fair few.
Yeah,
In fact,
we've had some people being killed at this point, which is something people really don't want to talk about.
This is something very interesting. UK politicians and press are fueling racist violence and hate speech. Racist terms and hate speech against foreigners is up in politicians and the press massively. An independent report today has just said that the press and the government are just getting all xenophobic.
Wasn't it just after the Brexit vote, a lot of racist people started
Hasn't stopped. There has been a massive increase in racist attacks, racist everything. And the point I want to make with all this is this feels super alien to all of us, probably most of us watching, because we're people of the internet, and people of the internet are just from the internet. Like that Twitch chat that's scrolling past there, I literally don't know where any of you are from. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter to any of you where all the other ones are from. We're all here for the same reason. We're all doing this thing together. This is just what we do. This is what the world is now. It's a chat of 1,000 people from who the fuck knows where. Whereas the real world is going, close the borders, foreigners, dirty foreigners, and then you go online and go, oh, I'm going to talk about this to all my friends who are from wherever the fuck. The countries, to me, don't really exist. That's not a thing anymore. That's not really...
We're kind of globalists, aren't we?
But it really is the whole... the internet is pulling us that way. And this feels like the last final... near the end of a film, Act 3, when you think the villain's about to win before they get, absolutely vaporized by whatever thing. But they think they've killed someone and they're doing that. So, I think that's where we are. I think we're at that low point. I kind of hope we're at that low point of the villains have won. So now it's time to fight back, and now it's time to not give up, and now it's the time when we have to keep going.
I'm not sure you're right. I have this horrible feeling that we're actually only just in kind of coming up on Act 2 at the moment, and I suspect logically, if this were thematically a good story, Trump has to win the presidency, and he immediately declares it's Voldemort Day. Happy Voldemort Day, everybody!
No, that's a terrible story. What we actually have is we're coming up to the final act. Trump will lose, and that will push us over into the much nicer, happier thing. That's what I'm kind of banking on. If Trump wins, of course, then there's a sequel coming.
Happy Trump Voldemort Day!
Expect another 2016. It's going to be so good fun.
The thing is, right...
Oh my god, and then Trump and Theresa May get together, and then their child, what would their child do?
Oh god.
Oh god.
See, I think the point now is a lot of the people who are kind of attracted to the kind of I'm going to say Trump mentality, but when I say Trump mentality, I am talking about the more specific xenophobia aspect of that, not the... I'm putting it in inverted commas, like, Republican aspect of it.
Yeah, not the fuck the poor bit, the fuck the other people bit.
Yeah, the xenophobia, and the bit that people attract that. And the same with Brexit. It does seem to be a lot of people who... are, like, the vocal, group of that are people sort of in the 40s, 50s, 60s.
Yeah.
Who have been like living through the world become, I think, more and more progressive, and are getting progressively more frustrated with that.
Yeah.
And now are pushing back against that, but have actually pushed back enough to make huge political change.
Luckily, this is something that we call a self-correcting problem.
Is it though? Because we can't just rejoin the EU, John.
Well, but you see, to quote the great right-wing comedian Andrew Lawrence, old people, why don't you just die? Why don't you just all die? Just die, old people die, and then we'll be left with the people who, will actually progress the world. That's what happens. People are living longer, and they're just slowing progress down. Just die. If you can't use an iPad and you're over 60, you should be shot in the face on the street.
This is the sad thing, though. A lot of the people aren't. Like, they're not old. They're just sort of, like, getting there. They're sort of, like, in the 50s. 40s, even. And it's these kind of, like... They haven't. It's people with enough influence to make a difference, but who aren't old enough to be in that demographic you talk of, and then have influence on young people to the point where you hear about people in schools going, "Oh, you're going to go back to your own country soon," to like a British person with dark skin.
Oh, that's happening a lot. Like literally today, I think about 5 hours ago, someone just tweeted at the Many a True Nerd account, "Claire has to go home." That shit, that just level of just random racist hate.
Would you like to give some context to that?
Would you like to say their names so we can bombard them with?
No, I can't even remember. It was a newly created account with literally only 2 tweets that existed just to tweet shit at me. So I just blocked immediately.
Claire is a French immigrant.
Claire is a French EU national. She moved here 7 or 8 years ago. She has lived here and worked here and paid taxes here, and she was a student here, where obviously as a foreign student she paid higher fees to be here. Afterwards, she had the right to remain, the right to work, and she did. She has worked pretty much consistently from the time when she stopped being a student, paid taxes, never really, I don't think she's ever claimed a single benefit of any description, which means, and as a young person, she's relatively healthy, so isn't a particular draw on the health service either, which is exactly how most immigrants from the EU in this country have worked. They've generally been young, healthy workers who have contributed more than they've taken out. But you wouldn't know that, would you?
If you're in this country legally, chances are you're paying tax.
You said this in Twitter before, on the idea that why the fuck do people care if, like, just because if someone's skin's a bit darker or they're from wherever the fuck, why does it matter if they're paying taxes and they're contributing to society and they're doing a job and they're doing it well and they're valued and they live here? What's your problem?
Because they're taking those doctor jobs away from British doctors who aren't actually there because our system isn't built for them. But the European systems where doctors are respected and well paid, they build up doctors. In fact, British doctors actually leave this country to go to other places because other countries actually pay their doctors well. We don't have the money for it. So most of the doctors that we make actually fuck off to other countries.
Did you see the proposed solution, which is we're going to try and any doctor we train in this country is going to be by law required to serve in Britain for 4 years before they're allowed to leave? However the hell you'd enforce that?
No, it's very nationalistic.
That's what we've got as a country, where literally by law we have to force our doctors to stay here because otherwise they'll just go elsewhere. I wonder if there might be a bigger problem underlying that, rather than just kind of saying, oh, these darn doctors, they keep accidentally tripping and falling onto planes and ending up in Australia. There might be some form of other problem underlying their migration that we might need to look into, like how we treat doctors.
Johnson. Your foot appears to have fallen off. We'll just put that in the bin. The problem's clearly solved itself. That's what it feels like at this point. It's just...
You know what I don't understand, right? Like, functionally, what's the difference between, for example, if I moved to London, right?
I don't know. I've heard London's going to build a big wall to keep you provincials out.
But let's just say, right, what's the functional difference from me moving to London on my wage and someone on an identical wage to me, but from Germany, also moving to London and paying the same amount of tax as me?
Oh, I know the answer. It's because you're not a bloody immigrant.
This is the thing.
Literally
No,
the
no,
answer. No,
no,
that's not the exact
no
answer. The
functional
exact
difference.
answer is, oh, that'd be fine, but we don't mean those kind of immigrants. The German guy, he's fine. It's not those. They never. And then you say, well, what kind of immigrants do you mean? Well, they'll never say it because they'll have to admit they're massive racists if they did say it. But I've heard that so many times. This idea of, oh, not those immigrants. We didn't mean those immigrants. They're going to get screwed over too, but we didn't mean those immigrants.
Yeah,
Like,
whoops.
it's
Like, this
specifically-
is something that obviously annoys me in our house an awful lot because, when Claire is adversely affected by something, and I say it, people say, oh, well, it's not supposed to affect her. Well, it does affect her. It's going to if you could do something that screws over and makes conditions worse for all immigrants, it's going to affect even the immigrants you didn't think you were going to
This
affect.
is the thing, right? I think a lot when people say, "Oh, not those immigrants," they've got like a fucking colour.
When you make
chart.
rules for
Like, when it
those
gets too
immigrants,
dark.
you're making rules for 1% and screwing over the remaining 99.
Yeah, but it's the immigrants' fault, John. John, the immigrants come here and the immigrants do immigrant things.
It's it's the same refugee argument in the States and the whole idea. Oh, we're scared of them, but they're literally coming over because their country is war torn by us. Big fault of the United States.
Yeah.
And
They should not have bombed France, but Claire had nowhere else to go.
no, but they come over is that they're not doing anything. They're like, oh, but the terrorists. Literally, all terrorists in the States are American. They're American. They are American. What?
Yeah.
You're just being racist. It's just like racism hidden under a sense of like pride, national pride.
And that's
but
the thing is, the further this goes on, the less and less you actually have to hide it. And this is what
Yeah,
we're seeing
yeah.
today, especially with that Tory party. Because the thing is that, UKIP don't need to exist anymore because they're in power. We now have the far-right xenophobic fucknuts in charge. Mm-hmm. They run the place.
Meanwhile, today in other good news, it turns out that unfortunately someone didn't use a bullet actually made out of silver and forgot to actually stake Nigel Farage through the heart when they killed him last time, because the fucker won't stay dead.
he's back as UKIP leader, isn't he?
He's like fucking Dracula, he just won't stay down.
What's the point?
Do you
Nigel?
love that the most racist man in the country, his name is Farage?
And has a German wife.
That great
Well, this
British
is it.
name.
It's fucking Trump, isn't it? Like fucking Trump. He's married to someone called Ivanka, who's fucking from.
Who there is significant evidence came to the US illegally and worked when she
Yeah.
shouldn't have done.
I mean, it's just I'm really concerned now because at this point, right? Obviously, leaving the EU, it's not Act 3 because you can't just rejoin the EU.
They don't have to leave the EU.
No, they don't.
You don't have to trigger Article 50. Article 50
No,
starts
we
things
don't.
off. Still not the
They
end.
will. They will. Most likely.
You say that.
I don't
Yes,
think at this
say
point they
that.
could not. I don't politically see how they couldn't at this
They're
point.
so far down the rabbit hole. They've made so many promises, and they'd be going against 50% of the population.
No, 37% of the population.
Well, I mean, even though only 37% voted, it is probably reasonably, not exactly representative, but it's probably vaguely representative of the actual full population's opinion.
No, because people who don't vote pay attention to different things, and it's a messy situation.
It
and
is,
to
but
be
still.
perfectly honest, fuck you, 29% of people who didn't vote.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Do either of you think mandatory voting should be a
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
With prison sentences if you don't.
But
And
do you
proportional
think-
representation on top of that, please.
Yeah.
Well, right. Do you think mandatory voting is going to cause a situation where so many? Well, I was going to say uneducated people are voting, but that's already happening anyway. So.
Darling, everyone's uneducated because of the press. That's the big problem. It's Mr. Murdoch and his bandwagon of hate that he brings along and he bangs and everyone looks at because all the papers suck his cock because he owns them all. We have one right-wing nutjob who owns most of the press. How the fuck... It's like that bit in the Lego movie where he's listening through all the things that Octan own, and it's like history books, voting machines. Wait, what?
And he's a damn foreigner too, that Murdoch.
Yeah, it's...
I don't think we should be allowing a damn foreigner to be owning our press.
I do enjoy that wonderful a bit of Fry and Laurie sketch about Murdoch, where they go they take him into they get a young Murdoch and take him into the future and show him that the world that he's created is this hateful one, and then he goes back and goes, "Oh, that sounds like a brilliant idea." So Stephen Fry just pushes him off a bridge. It's just that's a wonderful thing. But so basically, yeah, the government putting out messages of terror, the press back them up, and it's gonna separate this country. So my plan is to broadcast nothing but peace and love amongst all men, and we're gonna keep this thing going. And hopefully all the old people will die, and the massive, wonderful connection that is the internet will prevail. We'll become a globe of people that all want to love and hug each other, and everything will be cushy, and a few of us will live on Mars with Elon Musk.
See, okay, there's the three scenarios to see here, right? Outcome 1 is Article 50 doesn't trigger, and everything goes back to the way it was, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
I think the genie can't go back in the bottle at this point.
No, that's the unlikely scenario, but that is probably the best outcome at this point. Option 2 is Article 50 is triggered, Clinton gets elected, and sort of the faff in the UK continues, but globally kind of doesn't really have a leg to stand on because it's sort of doing it on its own.
Yeah.
And will probably slowly work its way back to being in the free trade zone over probably the next couple of decades, and would probably end up being in the EU in some respect.
Yep.
Option 3 is we trigger Article 50 and Trump gets elected, which is the worst outcome because that means all the xenophobia is then amplified by the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah, I'd move to North Korea then.
Canada.
Like, I wanna point out,
Canada's
right,
for me. Good old
like,
Justin
people-
What's-his-face. He seems like a good egg.
I think people always keep saying like, oh, it's lesser of two evils between like Clinton and Trump. But it's like, well, yeah, Clinton's some terrible shit, but like Trump is a xenophobic racist man who is very open about it, who can really fuck up culture.
And seems just a little bit too interested in nukes. I'm really, really worried by how interested he is in nukes.
I'm really worried by how interested he is in his own fucking daughter, but that's for entirely different.
I mean, if he just wanted to, like, screw over America, then that's fine. If he was elected to his country, he can screw it up as he wants. I just don't want him dropping, like, weapons of mass destruction close to my neighbourhood.
Yeah, I don't want to end everything. I'm quite enjoying everything right now. But here's the thing. America, this is why I think this is an Act 3, is America, you get the chance to be the heroes. You get to vote in Clinton and not Trump, and therefore win, because Clinton is a usual shady politician type. She's what you've always had and what you're probably always going to have, what we always normally have. But Trump is literally a lunatic. He is literally a gibbering lunatic. Mercifully, he has dropped off massively in the polls because he had to talk for an hour and a half and apparently couldn't do that.
He is genuinely terrifying.
No, even if we ignore, right, their actual personalities, which we shouldn't, but just go with me for a minute. If we purely just look at, okay, Trump is xenophobic, objectively he is, right? Clinton isn't. Like, people are like, oh, she said a racist comment once in private. There's a big difference. Yeah. I'm not excusing that, but there's a big difference between...
Trump will happily stand on a podium in front of the world and go, fuck them. Fuck anyone whose skin tone is darker than, and then like pulls out Dulux colour chart and goes,
that is incredibly
hazelnut
dangerous.
Today. Fuck all those people need ID cards. And then you've got, like, you got a young, like, Muslim kid who's been in America entire life who now isn't welcome, and their whole life gets taken apart. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen there. I wonder if that's a path to extremism.
Yeah, that's exactly where Britain's going. That's exactly when you start with, like, what is it? This children's register of immigration they want to make, where they want all the schools to figure out where all children come from, as well as the workplace thing. Well, that is one step away from a registrar, isn't it? From making a big register. We're just one step behind Trump.
See, no, this is the problem. Because a lot of people say, oh, Trump's terrified. No, I don't think Trump himself will actually do anything bad. He seems a bit... he acts like he cares, but like I think if he's in power, he's probably not going to do that much. The problem with Trump is the people who follow him will do stuff. He has a lot of influence just through his words, and that's the worst thing. That's why I think when the bloody presidential debates won, that's the biggest thing to me, is how Trump acts and what he says, because that's the biggest influence he could possibly have is how he acts, because it rubs off on his huge support, and that just makes the world a much worse place, because it is uninclusive, and it is just xenophobic, and it's racist, and even though he's not directly racist in the sense of the word you might imagine, and even though a lot of his followers aren't racist in the sense, it promotes that behaviour. and it promotes that culture, and it's just dangerous, and it's just a slippery slope, isn't it? And I don't like using the word slippery slope, but it is.
No, it is. People don't say it enough. In this country, you sow enough hatred, and all of a sudden, people right up to MPs start being shot in the streets. And we did. We had one of our members of parliament murdered in the streets by someone who was scared that she was going to let in too many immigrants.
What was he saying?
He was saying, something about protect Britain or something. He's just
Wasn't that almost literally what Theresa May and the Conservatives had on their podiums in front of them?
Yeah, pretty much. This local madman decided to shoot one of our members of parliament and said that he was trying to protect Britain and that he, too many immigrants. And the MP in question was well regarded as someone who had done a lot to try and help refugees, for example.
That poor fucking MP. So,
she was one of the good. By all accounts, she was one of the good ones.
Yeah, no,
she was a quiet, loyal backbencher who done a lot of good constituency work. Who was well liked by her local community.
Oh yeah, no.
By all accounts, she was a good local representative. The exact sort of public servant people should want to see more of.
And this is the thing. Obviously, none of our politicians told him directly to go do that horrible act. But
David Cameron did specifically say Labour are dangerous. That was the language they were using. They were saying an awful lot. Labour are really dangerous. They're going to be a danger to you and your family. And then they can't act too surprised when one person goes and murders a Labour MP saying, I had to stop her, she was dangerous. They can't wash their hands of that.
Well, that's it. It's not even if you don't directly say it, it's you've influenced them so much to.
Yes, sorry. Someone just reminded me in the chat. Thank you. His exact words were "death to traitors, freedom for Britain."
Jesus.
That beautiful. That is.
I think they killed the "death to traitors" bit on their slogan. That's on the back of their t-shirts, not the front of their t-shirts. But yes, I mean The problem with a lot of people always see Clinton go, Clinton's shit. Clinton's a politician. That's just fine. She's fine. She's a perfectly fine politician. But if you watched that debate and thought Trump won, you need some form of lobotomy. Because there was a beautiful moment in that debate when Trump tried an extortion racket against Japan and other places, protecting them from nuclear weapons, and Clinton actually started being on presidential and shit. That's when I kind of went, yeah, she's the one you need. She's fine. Clinton's fine. She's not going to be a fucking face on a mountain, but she's going to do a job. She'll get the thing done.
Stop.
Uh-huh.
Battleborn may or may not be going free to play. Okay, this is now a gaming podcast. Continue.
Okay, good.
Yeah, there we are. We've done. People were asking for some gaming news. That's gaming news. Done. Continue.
I've seen a lot of people in the chat go, but third-party options, you don't have that in America. If you vote for somebody else, you're basically throwing your vote away. That's just a fact. You go, actually, no, if you don't vote, it doesn't change. Here's how you change that. Get Clinton elected, and then, for the next 4 years, do not stop making noise about how you will only vote for someone who changes the system. No, shut the fuck up.
No, shut up, Matt.
You only do that. You basically go, we are not electing someone who doesn't fix the system. The next election, someone will promise, they'll go, we're going to fix the system. In fact, both parties might go, we're going to fix the system, and then you get to choose between one of them, and then the next time they fix the system, and that's when you have it.
The problem is,
you can't just magically assume that people are going to vote. They won't do those things.
Trump is a result of that. Trump is someone saying he was going to fix the system. Trump is a result of that.
Trump is going to fix the system by just getting rid of all the... Trump is a wild card. That's all. Trump's going to cut the brakes, scream wild card, put a cowboy hat on, and jump out the back of the moving van. That is Trump. He's basically going, right, it's basically going, right, we've got some stuff going on over here. How about we just put a live ferret in? That's what a vote for Trump is like. Let's just see what happens. It's nothing, the guy's evil. He called Katie Hopkins a respected journalist. Katie Hopkins, who, in her column, her headline, what the fuck was that headline that was wonderful? Rescue boats. I'd use gunships to stop migrants.
I believe she said gunboats, but yes, the implication of let's just bomb refugees is broadly the same.
Yes, it was. The United Nations had to comment on that one, and they said it was reminiscent of pro-genocide propaganda, and that's the kind of person Trump thinks is a respected journalist. Yes, we're not talking about video games because there's just
we just did. Did we or not comment that Battleborn may or may not be going free to play?
That was definitely a thing that happened.
I'd like to point out as well, there's barely any fucking video game news anyway, and this is much more important, and we're a lot more pissed off about this. So go fuck yourself.
Did you see What's-A-Face? Hang on, let's see if I can pull up the exact thing. I like to pull up the exact thing. Let's have
How long do you think it's going to be, right, until like a Trump supporter who is so riled up on the words of Trump and the whole sort of like, the Mexicans are rapists and the dicks and that, until someone does just like murder a
The bigger problem is in America, how would you notice?
That's exactly what I was about to say.
Because you might kind of have to start trying to statistically track whether there was a small percentage increase from the very large number of weekly shootings up to a slightly larger number of weekly shootings.
Yeah. In the UK, the police fired their guns 7 times last year. That wasn't even at people. There were just 7 gunshots fired. Like, it's not an issue.
It's so, I think as well, even murder, the murder rate is significantly lower over here.
Oh, of course it does.
Like the murder, I think...
Because not everyone has guns.
I think, I did actually look at this statistic, that is true. I think
hang on, Matt, wait,
4 times
we're full of immigrants. Don't they just murder and rape people to death?
Funnily enough, no, they keep to their own areas and they just work.
What? They pay taxes and do their job? It's almost as if when people come to this country, we actually have standards. As someone who emigrated to a different country and then came back, I'm very aware that you need to hit certain criteria to actually move. You can't just wander into England, buy a house and go, oh, this is fine. I'm fucking lived in this country. I can't even buy a fucking house in this country at the moment.
It's a funny thing as well, because it's amazing. Most of the people who actually, immigrate to a country, they actually want to be there. And they will, they'll work to be there.
Oh, you goddamn right.
The bad eggs.
Anytime I have met someone who is in this country, they're in this country because they want to be in this country. See, this is the thing that America does best, is you see people who move to America. Craig Ferguson, a great example. Scottish guy, used to run the Late Late Show. Fantastic show, completely changed late night comedy. One of my absolute heroes, love him to bits. He loves America. So he moved to America and became an American citizen. And that's what America does really well, is that people get really there's so much good stuff about America. There's so much super good stuff about America. So when you actually move there, you're like, there's all this good stuff. And Craig was that. Like, if this thing was going on if you get to that point where Trump's going, kick them all out like we are currently here, then you have to get rid of Craig Ferguson. And he loves that fucking country. Like, he changed the entire country. He's done so much good work on that country, and that guy, he has to go now because the people said the thing.
Weird thing with America though is, at least with the UK, America is fully a country built on immigrants recently. The UK, there is a very, very weak argument in the fact that it is a much longer standing country and there's a lot more heritage there, even though everyone is descendant from fucking Germans and whatever.
And when people talk about British culture, they have a very bad job defining what that is or means. I've never come up with anyone who can come up with a satisfactory explanation for when they say, "Oh, we're losing our culture. We've got to protect British culture." What are you talking about? Drinking tea, queuing, being sort of polite.
Doctor Who.
What is this British culture? I don't think we have a thing like Oktoberfest or whatever that people associate with Britain. What is it? The Queen? Is it the Queen? Is
Morris
that what you're talking
dances.
about? Is it Morris dancers?
What I don't get.
Chad, tell us what is British culture that you imagine? Do you just watch Downton Abbey and think it's like that? Because mostly we're not like that. I am, because I'm a posh fucker, but Dan and Matt aren't.
No, have you ever seen EastEnders?
They're like the people who serve me dinner in Downton Abbey.
I wouldn't get a job there. Door. I'd work in the equivalent of McDonald's back in those days. Just cow!
I need McDonald's.
Get some cow! Everyone loves cow! It's not even cow, I fake it. It's just a cow suit that I have.
I'm the guy in the fucking horse stables who just gets paid under the table because no one will hire him.
Somebody here said
well, obviously, you're an Irish immigrant. No one likes the Irish in Downton Abbey times.
Oh, they don't, no.
Somebody says they're voting Trump because he's going to stop the terrorists. Oh, yeah, those terrorists. You're actually more likely to be killed by a police officer than a terrorist in...
terrorism in the United States. I want to point out, international terrorism in the United States. Because it's domestic terrorism in the United States is mainly done by Americans.
Lunatics with guns.
Yeah,
that's your terrorists, is the ones that you're no, fuck off! Guns! God, do you see Andrea Leadsom, the woman who very nearly became Prime Minister, apart from was insulted once and then gave up because, people were mean to her. No. She says, and this is my favourite thing ever, she hopes young Britons will take up fruit-picking jobs done by EU migrants. She wants youngsters to engage with countryside matters. Her words.
It's not a terrible... it's phrased and formulated incredibly badly. Like I don't have a problem with like the idea that teenagers can do shit jobs for a bit of cash while doing it. I did shit jobs when I was a teenager. Really shit jobs on industrial estates for probably under minimum wage. But it doesn't change the fact that you've got the problem of, well, okay, are people going to be able to afford to live on these jobs?
Yeah.
I wasn't as offended by that as by some of the other things that have been in the Troy conference. Like, I don't like having done shit jobs as a teenager, and I personally think teenagers should do shit jobs because it gives you an appreciation for better jobs later.
Oh, yeah.
And doing shit jobs for almost no money when I was a teenager gave me a really good appreciation for better jobs later. I think it's actually quite a good thing to do. So I wasn't quite as badly offended by that point as by plenty of the other stuff, to be honest.
Can I say something? When you think about Britain and you think of the queue, I like that. Because in a queue, everybody in that queue is equal. They're just in like a different place in the line. That's actually quite a lot like Britain. You see, like everybody in a queue, like there's people behind you, there's people in front of you, whatever. But you're all got the same need. There's no drive. Nobody pushes in the queue. There's nobody who's getting it more. You just wait your turn.
Except for the like,
British
racist skinhead who comes along and is like, nah.
Yeah, but then we tut them.
Yeah.
They get tutted at. Tutted at kills you. If you're British and you're tutted at, you just burst into flame.
There's nothing that annoys me more than a queue that doesn't work, when like multiple queues are branching and no one knows how a queue works.
Oh, God.
Oh, you know what the worst thing is? When there's 3 automated kiosks, and the one at the end, no one's using it. And there's one person when there, you think, excuse me, there's one at the end that says, oh, I think it's broken. It's like, when you say you think it's broken, do you actually know, or are you just told it was broken by someone else who also didn't know? And actually, it's been working for several months now. There's just been a constant queue of people telling each other, oh, don't go to the end. But now I don't dare go to the end. Because if I go to the end and it is broken, am I allowed to return to the front of the queue? Or do I have to re-queue from the back at that point? I've broken the queue rules. So now no one can check if the terminal at the end is working. This happened to me at a train station this week. It was really traumatizing. Because no one actually knew whether the third one at the end was working or not, but people were just telling each other, like, whether it's broken. And then, when my moment at the front came, and a guy behind me said, excuse me, is that one at the end working? I just turned to him and said, I'm told it's not. And I didn't go. I just stood there. I bottled it. I missed my chance to be a queue hero.
I would have looked at it.
I could have been a queue hero, or I could have been the villain of the queue. I could have broken the queue forever.
See,
I think I did the safe thing.
In the second place,
what I did there was I did the safe, boring thing that was neither heroic nor heroic. I was the Hillary Clinton of queuing right then.
Yeah, you're the
I was the Hillary Clinton of queuing.
Middle line.
I mean, I could have been the Donald Trump of queuing and basically gone over to it, checked, and when it wasn't working, thrown a fit, and then started smashing it with a giant hammer. And then building on fire.
When I'm in those things, I always check all the things that are being used, and if not, I just check to make sure they're working. I get the lay of the land first.
Yeah, but what if it's not working, and then there's a queue back where you were originally queuing? Are you allowed to go back to the front of the queue or not?
I always say, do you mind if I pop out and go see if that machine's working?
Yeah.
That's what I always do. I've
been in that situation before, and it's just been like,
I should be a politician. I'm built for it, based on this entire thing. Oh my God.
People saying that's the most British story ever. Excellent.
No, the one about
I'm not even proper British. I'm kind of half Canadian.
What? Oh. Scum! Hang on. Canadia's not in the EU, is it?
No, pretty sure not.
It's in the Commonwealth. It's more British.
My mother is Canadian. My mother is Canadian. I'm a British citizen by birth, but I'm half Canadian by blood.
Disgusting.
I know. My mother was a naturalised Canadian.
Which
sadly gives you no more rights to move back to Canada. The moment the EU thing happened, I checked. Canada doesn't really give you any additional rights to move back to Canada just because your mother was one.
If you have an Irish-born parent, you're perfectly within your rights. Just go live in Ireland.
Yeah, like I'm literally researching my family history because there's some Irish blood in there somewhere. I'm trying to figure out if it's recent enough to count to just get a dual passport.
Like, this is the thing, like, with Brexit, right? To me, personally, in my situation, I'm very lucky to be, like, dual Irish and British citizen, which means, like, I still have full freedom of movement around the EU.
Don't say that.
Me.
But, right. Like, even though it doesn't affect me personally, it affects the country in such a huge way, and it affects the world. Because I think it sets humanity back a bit.
Oh, yeah, no, this is definitely one small step for man, one giant fuck up in the opposite direction.
Why is everyone yelling at me to get out when Matt's a filthy Irishman and he's right here?
I think you should all get out. I'm pure British.
Get Matt out first.
Apart from half my family's Italian, I'm half Italian, and Yeah, hang on a second. Actually, and lived in a foreign country for years. And I wasn't English ever.
The chat's right. Canada is great. You can just step out into the road in Canada and not only will no one run you over, they'll slow down and wait and they won't even beep. They won't even ask why you're standing in the middle of the road. They'll just politely wait for you to not be in the road anymore.
They were like, oh, it's a moose, eh? That's what they do, isn't it? Say
It was
moose,
just beautiful. I literally watched something. I just watched a little old lady when I was in Toronto. She just basically started very slowly crossing the road, not on a crossing or anything. And the car just like slowed down and waited for her. Didn't move around her, didn't beep, didn't like in any way figure out what was going on. Decided, yep, there's clearly an old person in the road. I'll just sit
Trump's
here and
America,
wait.
In Trump's America, the car would have run her over. See?
Yeah. She was getting in the way of progress.
Yep.
Get her out.
Hey, sorry, I saw a bit of news. Home Secretary Amber Rudd has defended plans to make firms do more to employ British people, saying, "Don't call me a racist for talking about immigration. We're calling you a racist because you said we have to list a percentage of foreign workers."
Can we also call you a criminal because that's completely illegal under current law?
Right.
Yes.
If you want to get more British people into British jobs, right? Like, perhaps, like, you start at the education level, really, don't you?
Oh, yeah. We are
have
literally the
programs
worst
in secondary
education
school
in
and
the
stuff.
EU. We're also no longer the fifth highest currency in the world. We dropped below France today. We're now falling, but there we go. We're just plummeting in everything. But we've always been shitty at education. Like, you go to Europe, and my time living over there, and every time I was like, oh, it's $9,000 for university, literally spit takes. Water everywhere. Like, even if they weren't drinking, it was weird. Just every fucking time. Just every time. Because why would you pay for education? Education means you're smarter. It means you've got a higher educated workforce, means they get better jobs. And better jobs mean that they've, more money coming in. Like it's better for the country.
They've always said, the government have always said about the UK, in that the UK is strong with, like, specialist jobs. Like, some of the big industries in the UK, like jet engine manufacturing, like higher skilled jobs.
Yep.
And that's what they kind of made the big push for. It's like, you're saying that, but you're not encouraging that at the education level at all. And you're wondering why there are only doctors. I mean, in fairness, they did, if I remember correctly, the NHS did used to pay for a lot of university fees if you went to a medical field. I don't remember quite how much of that was. My mother trained to be an occupational therapist, and I think she had pretty much all of her university fees paid for by the NHS.
Yeah, I've got multiple doctors in my family, and what I learned was basically, if you actually know a doctor, you don't want to become a doctor. Because it's the most stressful, horrendous job in the world.
Yeah.
No amount of money is worth the amount of stress and emotional strain that being a doctor puts you under.
Plus, you end up getting most of your money from the 5% of your time you spend working as a private doctor on the side. Just what most doctors do these days. That's just, yeah. Dear God. I've just realised something. The workforce proposal, which was Amber Rudd's thing, which was you have to list all the foreign blah, 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 which is trying to encourage people to hire more British workers, because clearly that's the thing to do.
Yeah, because when I'm about to buy a washing machine, the first thing I do is look up online, try and find data for what proportion of the workers at the factory are British or not.
So much,
because that's going to factor into my purchasing decision significantly.
See, when it comes to household appliances, I'm a big sucker for Smeg, mainly for the Red Dwarf connection, but they're all EU made, so they've got EU plugs and stuff on them. Well, they're not going to work anymore. EU plugs.
We need to buy a new washing machine right now. I'm thinking Bosch.
Bosch. I like Bosch. That's a British name.
It's got a nice title, Bosch.
Get it, Bosch.
And you feel like it's a bit more expensive, but you feel like they'll last better. And when it's a thing that's full of water and electricity, I want it to not explode, because that's what our last one just did.
Yeah, Bosch. That's a good British company. A good British name.
If there's two things in your house you want to spend proper money on, it's your stove and your washing machine, because those are the two things where if they go wrong,
Bosch
you die.
are German. They're German.
Yeah, I know they're German. They're like fucking. They've been around since the 1890s.
Exactly. I trust German engineers.
I assume Bosch is the surname of someone.
Robert Bosch.
Robert Bosch. There you go. That's a German name. Bosch. Wait, shit. Oh no, that's not a great British thing.
I feel like I trust Bosch.
Anyway, I was saying Bosch. that workplace proposal. The reason they've announced it, and this is an actual quote. It's a series of measures designed to change the tide of public opinion on immigration. That could be read as, "Hey, I hope you'll turn racist," because that's kind of what you're going for. I like, see, it's points like this where I'm like, oh, nationalism's bad. And then I look at the SNP and go, they're kind of like liberal nationalists. That's a weird thing.
See, the thing is, right,
if the SNP ruled the country, I feel that would be best for everyone.
Yeah, I'd be totally up for Greater Scotland.
I'm done for that.
So,
I mean,
I had a friend.
Because the term United Kingdom does not cover this country.
I had a
anymore.
friend who mentioned the idea of. I think it wasn't his idea. It was the politicians. The idea of like the SNP, the Green Party, a bunch of like displaced Lib Dems and fucking Labour Party members just all go together and make this one big party.
Yeah.
That's not. It doesn't sound like a terrible idea.
The problem is, if you put the niche groups together, then all of them lose all their support, because their entire support comes from the fact that they're unique and doing a very niche thing, targeting a very particular group of people.
Yeah, but they can't. They're not that. I wouldn't say the Greens or the SNP are that niche.
Well,
I'd say the SNP are relatively well targeting the Scottish.
I'd like, wasn't it when it came to the Brexit vote?
Their appeal in Cornwall is
Scotland,
extremely limited.
Wasn't it every single area of Scotland voted to stay in the EU?
Yeah.
Thanks,
I think
Scotland.
maybe one didn't.
Genuinely. I thought it was everything. It was one didn't when it was the general election. The SNP took everything but one place.
Yeah.
But I see Nicola Sturgeon's great on social media as well. Like her
I
Twitter
love her.
account is
She's
amazing
magnificent.
because she doesn't pull punches. She literally will lay into everything, and it's beautiful. Corbyn's like, really I ate some jam today. And Nicola Sturgeon is like, hey, Tories, go fuck yourself. There's like a picture of her, like she's nude with a massive dick and just like middle finger in. And
entirety of Scotland is just Remain.
she's great. I kind of, Scotland, I hope you'll take me if this all goes to massive shit. In fact, I kind of just, Scotland, how far down south do you reckon we can move your border?
Yeah, I think if you just start moving it like a metre a day, no one will notice.
I'd say faster than that. I'd say we should have a referendum, not on should Scotland leave, should Scotland take over?
You see, the thing is, there's like the border's like it's this river, the Lothian, isn't it? Isn't that a river that like they use to kind of define the border a bit?
I don't know.
I think there's a river close by to the border that you kind of use for it. So theoretically, it wouldn't be that difficult for just like at night, dig a big channel a mile further south, divert the water into it, just say, well, that's the river.
Oh, yeah.
Look at it, it's right there. You can clearly see that that's where the river is, so that must be where the border is. And just keep doing that over and over.
The river, like... just follow vaguely along the course of a river.
And the thing is, because the Tories are in power, you could take over quite a lot of northern cities without them even realising anything had gone wrong.
Yeah,
you could get Newcastle and Sons, and they'd never notice Liverpool gone. They'd never notice if Liverpool went missing.
If they go, hey, what's up with the map? Just say, fracking. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, right. Sorted. Just say fracking.
I think they could get... I think possibly they'd notice where Manchester went, but I think they could get Liverpool, Leeds, Newcastle, Sunderland... pretty easily. Oh, York, I think, could go.
Just get the entirety of the north, basically.
Yeah, I think they could get into the Midlands. Because
if
you could get to Yorkshire, I think they could. Then you're pretty much at the borders of Derbyshire, right there. Yeah. I think the moment they get to Derbyshire, that's when there's going to be trouble. In offence, it doesn't really matter because Scotland's the one who have got the news.
Like what? You're saying when they finally get a direct border with Wales, then there's a problem.
Actually, I think the Welsh might be on board with this. I probably don't think they'd tell anyone.
Just start going down the M6. Just tilt it. Down.
I mean, I think they might notice when it gets towards Birmingham because that's where they do the conference.
We'll leave Birmingham. No, we'll just follow like the M6 along, right? Which just cuts like over the top of Birmingham, doesn't it? So we'll just keep that bit. Like Birmingham will just become a part of Wales. Wales can go over that way, and by the time they notice, we'll be at fucking Milton Keynes.
Well, at that point, just skip over to the west because there's various towns over there that no one knows what they're even for. So England wouldn't mind if they lost them. Like, what's Shrewsbury for? What is it for? What has it ever done?
There's Worcester, which is where the sauce come from.
Yeah. If you're from Shropshire, what's the point of you? Justify yourselves in the comments to me, people from Shropshire. Bet you can't. What have you ever done?
Yeah, I think the border should move south. And I think it should also never stop. I think basically, I will be happy when England is just London with a big wall around it. And then you can just put all the racists in there, just dome them over.
The thing
and just
is,
leave
though,
them.
didn't London vote really heavily to remain?
Hugely.
Yeah, London is weird because London is. I mean, the reason London vote to remain is because a lot of people come from these places to go to London for university, for work, etc. I mean, most of those statistically they'll be in London. So the people who are voting are the people who this is going to affect. So that's why they're there. The North voted to keep everyone in because the North's fucking nice. Which is weird to say that Scottish people are less racist, but there it is.
Maybe they're racist just differently. Like they're just racist against the English.
You know what? I have never.
Which is more acceptable because we are pretty much dicks.
I
We are
spent a lot of
history's
time in
dicks.
Scotland, and literally Scottish people are the second nicest people in the world after the Mexicans. My time in Mexico was incredible. I've never met a nicer people in my life. Americans are also terrifyingly nice as well. Like,
Yeah,
when I was in LA for 2 days. Yeah, they're
They
hiding
pretend to be
something.
nice because they're scared of being fired and thus losing their healthcare coverage.
They talk in lifts, dude. Like, I was in a lift, and this lady was like, "Oh, you having a nice time?" I was, well, an American accent, of course.
You have a great day now. Yeah,
I don't even know how to have a great day. Like, I could barely have an okay day at the best of times. I'm British, for fuck's sake. Like, a great day, I'd have to have, like, 3 blowjobs to have a great day. Like,
Germans are very friendly.
That would be too many, to be honest.
See, no, the problem with Germans is they're just far too attractive. I find it's like, whenever I've met a German, I'm like, you're a little bit too attractive. Like, Germans are genuinely a very attractive people. That's the men included. They are breathtakingly beautiful people. That is genuinely my thoughts. The French, fuck them. But the Germans, oh.
I would like to point out, right, that the French and the Polish weren't very
That's like a
polite
game of EU
culturally.
shag, marry, kill right there. French, fuck them. Germans,
Fuck the French.
marry.
Look, they're above us now in the economy. Fuck the French.
I would marry a German. I'd kill a Frenchman. I don't know. I'd shag someone from Spain. No, Czech Republic. Yes. Oh, Estonia. Oh. Let's go.
I want to know a really hot Estonian. Actually, that's true. Oh, actually, was she Lithuanian? I don't know.
That's racist. I don't know.
Man, you're dating a French girl.
Huh?
You're dating a French girl.
Yeah, but
This was a decade ago.
He hasn't been.
This was
since the
3
dawn
years
of
before
time.
I met Claire.
I know, John. I'm saying you're dating a French girl, so get out because you're biased on the situation, you fuck.
Well, I'm biased about Estonians.
No, you're biased about French.
You're
No, I'm not.
biased
If anything, I'm
about
biased
Estonians.
against French people. Claire's really annoying. She gets in the way all the time, and she occasionally likes doing smelly cheese things.
Ah, I need to talk to Claire.
Oh, she heard that.
Delicious cheese.
Go away! I'm
Very
talking.
loud.
I'm talking about a different Claire.
Claire, send me cheese. Fuck, I forgot the French makes cheese. Alright, I wouldn't kill the French.
How many women do you know who do smelly cheese things?
Go away!
That does sound like a sex thing. She has a point. I feel like that's something you get off the menu of like a really like private club. Oh,
I
yes,
forget I
have-
speak too loud. She hears me whatever I'm saying.
Oh man, I can't get a French cheese. What about like Switzerland? They do like watches and chocolate and shit. Italy,
What about
like
Liechtenstein?
Italy. I'm kind of now going through which bits of Europe I'd get rid of, and I can't really think
We
of
can just,
any.
no,
that
we
I'd
can just get rid
rid
of Liechtenstein. Nobody cares about Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein's a great word to say, though.
I know, but like we could say, oh,
I'm
remember
not sure I
when
can even put it on a
Liechtenstein was
map
a thing?
exactly. I'd probably get it wrong.
Between Switzerland and
Austria. Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
those aren't the same country?
No.
I mean, we could probably throw Luxembourg out.
No, you can't throw out Luxembourg.
What have they ever
Because
done
the
to
capital
you?
of Luxembourg is Luxembourg City, and that's a fact I know, and that's an interesting fact. I like that they just have Luxembourg City. Like I like what do we know about capital? Yeah, the same. That's like they've rebooted their country into one city. Luxembourg City is actually just Luxembourg, just smaller. It's the exact same size. It's really weird.
Okay, fine. Let's throw away the Belgians
We
then.
can't throw away the Belgians.
Why can't we throw away the
Well,
Belgians?
several reasons. One, it's the rudest swear word in the universe. Two, Belgian chocolate. I mean,
Also,
like,
mayonnaise, chips.
oh god, yeah. You can't get rid of them at all.
No, we can't get rid. Can we get rid of the Dutch?
No, the Dutch are the best people. They legalized weed, and they're all right with it. They're just doing that. They're like, hey, you know what'd be great? Let's legalize weed and then build canals everywhere, and just that's how they weed out the weed.
Okay.
It's great.
I've heard good things about Sweden and Finland, but do we really need Norway?
Well,
They feel just like Sweden and Finland, but not as good.
Norway's
More
always
rocky, aren't
Norway's
they?
like the twiddly bit one at the end, isn't it? And you know, slightly bad for us would be sad if we got rid of Norway. How about? Hang on, I've got
Denmark?
one. How about England? That's not doing anything for me. What does that add? Queuing? Ugh.
Oh no, Northern Ireland. Fuck them.
No, I like.
Just cut them off.
The
No, we cut
Irishman,
off
ladies
Northern
and gentlemen.
No, we cut off Northern Ireland. We stick it to sort of like Scotland somewhere, and
All right,
if they
Hey,
want to be
Matt, look
British,
over
so,
there.
look,
It's a Catholic.
no. No. If the fucking Northern Irish want to be fucking British so much, why don't they fucking make him part of the fucking British Isle, right? Fuck them.
Yeah, we're not going to have Scotland attached to the British.
Dark, a
Isles
Protestant!
soon, no? Alright, I've got it, right. Let's just cut Hull out and, like, airlift it away. Let's just get rid of Hull.
Yeah, fuck Hull.
Just Hull.
Ipswich 2. What's Ipswich
Hull
ever
just
done for
sounds
any of
boring.
us?
How about Kendal? I mean, they've
I
given
bet
us
you didn't
mint
even
cake,
remember
what else?
Ipswich existed before I just
Kendal's
mentioned
great.
it. Be honest,
I
none of
thought-
you remembered Ipswich
honest to
existed.
God, I was
if I asked
thinking
you to
about
list
Ipswich
cities in
earlier
Britain, you'd
today.
have never said Ipswich.
I was thinking about Ipswich earlier today because I tend to do whenever I say a joke
Why
where I
would you be
insult a
thinking
little
about
place.
Ipswich?
Well, when I say a joke, I was thinking about some place. I tend to re-record it and then I pick the funniest name. And like Ipswich was one of the 3 things that I mentioned today in a joke. It didn't make the cut, but I definitely thought about it.
I mean, Ipswich isn't even like comically bad like Hull is, because Hull is just a good punchline for a terrible city in Britain. Ipswich is just near.
Yeah. So we've got. What's
Preston.
that? What's that island like bit where next to Italy? Not Sicily, but there's that other island that's just suspicious and nobody knows what's there. What's that?
Sardinia?
Is that where Sardinia is?
It's north of Sicily. The
Corsica?
French own that, apparently.
Oh, kill that! There we go. That's all. What have they done? Wait, do sardines come from there?
Well, the
Malta?
Sardinians don't really like being ruled by the French. It apparently causes some trouble. Claire
well,
tells me
that's
about
right
this
then.
occasionally. Apparently, it's important French news that none of the rest of the world
We could
cares
throw
about.
Malta away.
I like Malta. That's where all the people from Essex go on holiday and get tans.
Okay, fine.
Ooh, Falklands.
Ooh,
Falklands.
No,
They strike me as they're just going to bring us into a war sooner or later. Let's just get rid of them now and be done with
I got the perfect thing. Let's throw away the Vatican. Vatican City. Fuck them.
That doesn't really save us much space.
Yeah, the Vatican.
That-
That's
yeah,
like
that
having
seems
that's like having a
way.
2 terabyte hard drive and deleting 15 megabytes.
No, yeah, but we're just
off
trying to
it.
take
You're
names
not
off the
doing
list
much
here,
there.
really. You know.
Yeah, unless those are
All the math.
incriminating emails or anything, you definitely don't want to be doing that. What else? Belarus. I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's alright, I suppose. Not got much to say about Belarus. Are we voted?
It's there.
It is there.
It's like Georgia. It's one of those countries I don't really know much about.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of want. It's huge as well. I've just opened on Google Maps. It's fucking massive.
Lots of the countries over there are way more
What's
massive
there,
than they
though,
deserve to be. Kazakhstan's huge. What are they doing for that?
Nothing.
Like Uzbekistan.
Yeah.
I literally know nothing about Uzbekistan aside from that it's called Uzbekistan.
Isn't that like one of the most oppressive
spread out.
regimes in the world?
I don't
Don't
even
they have the
know.
crazy guy who made the mass? Who was obsessed with chess. I think Uzbekistan might have been the crazy chess guy.
I thought we were talking about Europe. Isn't Uzbekistan out of Europe?
Yeah, but we're doing the Eurovision version of Europe, where
Oh,
Europe is
well-
literally whatever the fuck
well-
we want it to
Well,
be.
there we go. Let's
Come
get rid
over
of
here, Australia.
Let's get rid of Australia.
Australia. Yeah.
That's what we should
like
do.
Australia.
I vote we remove Australia.
From Europe.
What have they got? Attractive women and spiders. They're both traps. That's all I'm saying. That's all they've got.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that really New Zealand's the proper one. You know.
Oh,
New Zealand's like the grown-up brother.
Well, actually, think about it now. I'd rather get rid of New Zealand. I mean, what have they given us?
New Zealand's beautiful. Lord of the Rings.
Is that it? That's not a great film.
Yeah, but okay, so
Kim.com.
other than
Guys,
Lord
we
of the
should-
Rings,
We should stop arguing in front of the map. It's a good Flight of the Conchords reference there. I like Flight of the Conchords. New Zealand can stay.
Oh, yeah. Brett?
I love fucking Murray. Literally, Murray is my hero. Basically, we've come to the conclusion that all of Europe is very interesting and we should keep it because it's nice. Even Uzbekistan, which isn't even a part of Europe. Yeah. So, basically, you're all welcome. That's the message I would like to put out in this first hour of a gaming podcast.
Yeah.
There's a country in South America called
I'm doing my
Suriname?
final thoughts. Matt,
Suriname.
I was doing my final
how you pronounce
thoughts.
I think you just ruined the final
He
thoughts
ruined
with
my
Jerry.
final
Fuck off.
thoughts.
Oh, fuck off.
He ruined my final
Fine,
thoughts.
go on.
You all heard him. He ruined my final thoughts.
You know, I was too busy enjoying Suriname.
Matt, you're supposed to go quiet and then wait for Dan to finish. Then we just lower the lights and start clapping.
Yeah.
Then the music comes up. That's it. That's the job right now.
That's how
If I let Dan finish like he finished yesterday, we were going to fucking 5 hours.
it sounds wrong. You made that
I
sound
know.
dirty.
I know.
That's
fine.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Basically,
Kidding, my asshole.
anybody is welcome here and on my
Yeah.
things. I don't give a fuck where you're from, and we're gonna use these channels that we have and these audiences that we have to promote love between worlds. I mean, countries. Because fuck old people. They're going to die soon, and we're going to have to clean up their messes. So we're going to keep this going, and we're going to make this a good thing. And it's going to be a struggle, but I'm defiant to the very last xenophobic fuckhead that we meet.
I had someone Twitter the other day. I was talking about
turn
America.
the lights down.
No.
Start clapping, Matt.
No.
Oh my god.
Doesn't deserve a clap.
How about Milton Keynes? No one likes Milton Keynes.
Nobody likes. Not even the Milton Keynesians like Milton Keynes.
Milton Keynesians.
Yeah.
Look.
Sorry, the Milton Keynesians.
I was talking. I was ranting about Trump.
Cows.
Right. I was ranting about Trump, and someone says to me, "You have no right to speak about to try and influence American politics because you don't live here." Is what they said to me.
I live there.
You live in America.
Yeah.
I've worked in America. Do I get to have an opinion?
When you go,
but this is the thing.
I worked in Los Angeles on many occasions.
From America,
but this is what we were saying about fucking Trump, though, isn't it? Because
I'm singing backing vocals.
Just because Trump's gonna, oh god, you're the worst.
All we need to do is you just feed us the opinions you'd like us to read out on your behalf. Because me and Dan clearly are allowed to have an opinion, and you can just stay in Ireland and cause trouble with Protestants.
Legitimately, I'm quite worried about what's going to happen with Northern Ireland.
You mean the border situation?
No, that's going to be a real problem. Because the Good Friday Agreement, I think, is all based on EU stuff as well.
What I've heard is the solution they're probably going to go with to get around the fact they don't want a hard border because there's too much bad blood around the idea of there being an actual border with checks on it is they'll have an open border there, but then that means they'll have to have the border between Northern Ireland and the rest of the UK is where they're going to have the checks.
That seems fair.
Which is going to cause its own set of problems, but at least means you won't have a recurrence of barricades and checks along roads on Ireland because there's too much trouble there.
It is a lot easier because you're going from island to island. It's a lot easier to. I mean, they're going to be controlling the borders anyway in the UK, so it's not much effort to control.
I mean, not many people are just saying, I'm going to have a nice swim to Liverpool today. Ta-ra! Or however Irish people sound. That wasn't how Irish people sound.
Oh, I'm going a nice swim to Liverpool.
I'm going to Liverpool.
Leprechauns.
Ta-ra!
That's pretty racist.
Pretty racist that was. Sorry.
Yeah.
I want to point out, Ireland still don't have a functioning government.
So
they had their general.
I wish we
election,
did.
Maybe.
I was about to say,
I really wish we didn't. That'd be great.
I want to point. I'm just going to check when the Irish general election is because they have a proportional representation, but they have like they don't really. They have 3 major parties, but all the smaller parties are pretty competitive. They're not small. They are, So you end up having
small
9 parts. You end up having.
You just said they're not
parties.
small. Presumably they're small.
They're smaller, but they're not.
Smaller than what? If they're all smaller, what are they all smaller than?
They're smaller than the 3 main.
This is the worst way anyone has ever explained a political situation.
Okay. You imagine you've got your Labour and you've got your Conservatives and you've got your Lib Dems.
Hang on, wait.
Can you do this in an Irish accent to make it more real for us?
King of the Stupids has just said, "Dear God, stop talking about politics." I think that sums up everything we've been saying quite nicely.
God, I wish in the UK we had a less functional government and a more functional opposition. That'd be great.
Oh my God.
No, but right, look. So, because Ireland really, for some reason, have just became really fucking liberal in the past decade. I don't know where it came from, but they've just became really fucking liberal. It's really nice.
Backlash against decades of violence and Catholicism.
Probably, yeah. But they've got several major. They've got at least 9 parties which have a pretty good say in how to get. So because they have proportional representation and because there are so many parties and because of all this, they're in a situation where no one really has any majority control.
That's good. That means they can't mess up too badly.
Well, no, it does. I think Enda Kenny's still Fine Gael. He's still controlling it.
Is that a person or a party?
And Fianna Fáil is a part. Well, Fine Gael is a party, and Enda Kenny is the prime minister. Is the prime minister, and there's the president of Ireland, which is like.
Sorry, I zoned out. Is he still talking about Lord of the Rings?
He's talking about some bloke called Finny McGale or something. He runs Ireland, and he runs the PewDiePie party or something. I wasn't paying attention either.
Okay. God damn.
Basically, the King of Ireland is gonna have a really splintered court or something.
But she's a queen. The president's a queen. The president's a female.
Right.
They're elected. The president's elected, but the president is a ceremonial role. I don't know what the point.
This
of
sounds like the
president is.
worst series of Game of Thrones ever.
It's a really convoluted political system, but it works.
See, I like how Europe does it. Most places in Europe, when they vote for a thing, like 3 parties end up winning, and then there's like a left wing, a centre, and a right wing party. They all win like bits, and then they have to work together to make governments, and therefore the governments just kind of just keep on trucking.
That's it. That's how Ireland is.
Good way of doing it. Don't go like, hey, we'll do it to one lunatic. That doesn't.
Well, I'm always
make
quite a
sense.
fan of Ireland. Does it with in each constituency they have like 3-4 like MPs to vote for, and like I mean you vote for 4, so like in that constituency there are 3 MPs, 4 MPs rather than 1 like we have here. Which means they have to actually work together for everyone's best interests, not just their own, or to push their own agendas, which is really works.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what? We should take... Actually, before we take a break, and
no.
we'll actually talk about games, we've taken a fair few punches at the right wing. Can we take one at the left wing? Someone I like.
That just feels harsh. Feels like kicking a man when he's down.
I know. I'm not gonna.
The horse is dead, Dan. The horse is already dead.
Let's not attack Jeremy Corbyn not really saying anything, being silent and not. We'll
He
ignore all
released a
that.
statement.
There's a very specific thing that happened on the internet. I just, you know, when someone's doing something, you're like, look, please stop. Please just stop. One of my favourite YouTubers was being a bit of a just dick. I think it's the only way to put it right. There's this unspoken rule amongst YouTubers that we understand why copyright is there. We get it. We understand. But if you use it, we do think you're scum. Like, that's just a thing. Like, no one's ever gone, oh, a copyright claim. Oh, they have claimed this copyright. Like, it's always like, bastards! That's just the way we go. So when somebody that I like files a copyright complaint, which was Lacey Green, it was wonderful, who does a fantastic job on YouTube. She, from what I could tell, filed a copyright claim against a small YouTuber for using her face in, like, their video or their thumbnail or something.
It's not a thumbnail, yeah.
Yeah, and like that's like the loosest copyright thing. That's not good. But
That's not really you can't trademark
No,
or otherwise reserve the rights to your own face.
She on Twitter said that, we can't use my face to sell your product. That's illegal.
actually, there's a tweet. Hang on, I'm going to look for the thing here. She was,
Apparently...
right,
It was quite
let me
ironic
just
though, because in
just
her
say
video
her-
she's had all the people's faces in.
Let me just say her actual tweet that sort of lost me on this one was, could Philly D, because Philly D, fucking hell, fuck you. Philip DeFranco did a video on this, which was actually quite reasonable. I'm not a big fan of his, but it was a very reasonable video that just kind of went with the facts. And it was, could Philly D be any more of a drama queen? I'm sick of alt-right assholes using my face to make dollars and direct harassment at me. Fuck off. Fair enough, I don't like the alt-right, but you can't file a copyright complaint at just the alt-right. And in that tweet, she's kind of going, I took this down because it was the alt-right thing, which kind of says that she's abusing the copyright system to try and stop videos that say things that she doesn't want to say. And that is scummy. Don't do that.
Like, I can empathise with it, but it is still scummy.
You don't, like, I like people saying things. This is the problem I have. This is the problem I have with politics, is that I love, when I lock horns with someone and we have a great debate about, like, detailed, complicated great stuff, that's fine. But Trump supporters, right, you can't get a fucking word in because they're such idiots. They're like, oh, but the government and the terrorists and ISIS and immigrants, like, that's just this, it's a loop. You just see it, click to that, ISIS, terrorist, immigrants, ISIS, terrorist, immigrants. There's no way of debate or discussion or anything. You can't get in there and it annoys me. So,
There's
I
a huge
like it
number
when
of people in the
say
comments right
things.
now.
Are
There's
there?
a lot of people in the comments right now. They clearly never saw your favourite YouTuber's video back in the day, Dan. Because a lot of people are surprised by the revelation that you know who Lacey Green is and so forth.
Yeah, I did a video. Like,
Okay,
I listed her
okay.
as one of my favourite YouTubers and that, like, someone you should absolutely watch because she's doing something that no one else does. But this thing
That was
she
years
just did,
ago, wasn't it?
That was years ago, yeah.
Can I
that
just
was
point something
ages
out?
ago. But this
right,
is a
YouTubers
thing-
actually
just-
do like other YouTubers.
Yeah. It's almost
That
like
was
a
also
thing.
when you plugged Emma Blackery for one of the earliest times.
That's true. That is very true. But you see, that's just, you can't abuse this. Like, the copyright system, we don't want it getting any stronger. We don't. It's good as it is. A lot of people in the Twitch chat are quite surprised right now that I'm saying things like this. But no, we don't want the copyright system abused for this sort of thing. And that is not the way you use it. I really want that claim to fail. I want that claim to fail completely, and I want that YouTube to be able to put up their videos saying whatever the hell they want, because they have the fucking right to say that. You can't do fucking legal action and taking their fucking money just because you disagree.
Well,
and especially don't put up a video afterwards playing the victim card, because you'd look like such a twat doing it.
No, here's the thing. If it is legitimately harassing and inciting,
then you report
whatever,
it.
Yeah, that's terms of service, not copyright.
Yeah, that's a separate thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't if you have to use a copyright claim, it's much like game developers taking down, videos again. It's the same kind of attitude, which is bad.
Yeah.
Bad. I'll do that. It's bad.
I just wanted to apologise. I may have just started accidentally a trend of hashtag Dan plugged Emma. That is now filling up the chat like crazy. Sorry about that. That was a badly phrased choice of words.
I like, one of our other tweets was, free speech is not a right to steal people's content, right to sell people's image, right to speak without consequence, right to any platform. It is literally a right to speak without any consequence. That's the free speech. It's lit. The government can't be like, hey, did a thing. Like, you may get fired by your boss.
There is some speech that has consequence.
No, it's the right to speak without legal ramifications.
Yeah.
It's not the right to speak without consequences. Like, there are consequences to what you say.
There's consequences to absolutely everything, but it's kind of like that sounds like, it's kind of
It's not the right to speak without consequence, though.
And you do have the right to sell people's images, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get those knockoff pieces of shit about the Queen. She's a public domain face.
It's not. She's not selling image either. It's just a thumbnail, and she has repeatedly in her videos used pictures of other people.
But what
Actually, I used to be in that business.
In what business?
Many years ago, I briefly worked in a company that produced merchandise that included royal family stuff.
Uh-huh.
And what you have to do is you actually have to buy the rights to the images you want to use. If you want to put a plate on the Queen on a plate or whatever, you've got to actually buy the rights from a photographer. So basically, you leave the setting up of the rights and the ownership of the photo to the photographer, and then you license the image from them. Generally, you don't use public domain images in case they ever move out of the public domain somehow. You always will go with a licensed image.
The photographer owns the rights to the image, not the person who's in it.
Yes.
Well, yeah, because that's how Wikipedia works, isn't it? Like, to put a thing on Wikipedia, put a photo of a person on Wikipedia, you have to have taken the photo.
The question is, how much due diligence did the person do? Because it's very likely, as public, a person who's shown their face as much as Lacey Green, there probably are fair public domain usage images of her out there.
Yeah.
Because you can't just basically declare your face not public domain in any photo ever taken of
like,
it is not.
Even excluding all that is just kind of, even if the image isn't specifically public domain, it is still just unreasonable. You're an internet, celebrity. Your face is everywhere. I don't understand. I can empathise with it. It is just, it's abuse of the copyright system, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, she'll continue. She does good work. She'll continue to do good work. But I wanted to pull that one up because I'm like, don't fuck with that system.
I met her. She's nice.
Have I met her? I can't remember if I met her or not. She seems nice, but I don't. It's always.
I spoke with her.
The copyright system just feels like it's the thing. It's like that bit in the film where the good guy uses the bad guy's thing. It's like when Harry Potter used Sectum Sempra, and you're like, what the fuck do you do that for, Harry? No, when he used the torture curse thing, when he used Crucio on Bellatrix, you're like, what the fuck? It's kind of like that. That's how it feels.
And then when he
head.
started completely emotionally abusing his own son repeatedly.
Stop bringing that book up. That book was fan fiction. It never happened.
Happy Voldemort Day!
Oh my god. So what's happening with No Man's Sky then?
No Man's Sky, this is just funny. One of the mods of No Man's Sky's subreddit, which is 150,000 people strong, just basically closed it down with his final comment on it being, it is a hate-filled waste hole with no actual discussion.
Is that talking about No Man's Sky or the No Man's Sky subreddit?
I think it's talking about the No Man's Sky community. That they form a hate-filled waste hole of no actual discussion. And I'm told it's back up now. But, that's just starting to feel mean. It's starting to feel like I'm just bullying No Man's Sky, how much is going wrong. But, that's just beautiful. Its community was always one that had a little bit of a toxic element to it after all the nastiest
happened. Wasn't that actually a hive of scum and villainy?
It was the community that kind of, after some people suggested No Man's Sky might be delayed, got really, really nasty towards anyone who dared report that, even though it turned out to be completely 100% true.
No Man's Sky delay was 3D printed.
What?
No Man's Sky delay was 3D printed. All a hoax.
No Man's Sky delay was... Oh, you're doing news.
So you... I'm making a joke.
You were doing news. I like that... There was actually a news story a few days ago that was No Man's Sky's creator, Sean Murray. He's open to explaining what went wrong on Jeff Knightley's... What's his fucking name? Jeff Knightley. Oh, fuck, whatever his name is. He's got a new YouTube gaming show. And so basically, Sean Murray's going to give an exclusive interview about what went wrong. This dude is literally the new Peter Molyneux. Like, that is the most Peter Molyneux tactic I have ever seen. It's like...
Plus, this raises a new interesting question, which is, does YouTube have an upper time limit for how long the video that you're allowed to upload is? We're about to find out!
I don't think it does. I just uploaded an 8-hour video, so got that to look forward to. Yep.
Desert Boss Part 2! Wait!
No. Not even on my channel. Yeah, I don't... Have I done anything longer than... I don't think I've done anything 8 hours. I think that's the longest video I've uploaded ever.
Yeah, it is.
I think it might cap out at 100 hours, because I'm sure I saw like someone had uploaded 99 hours and 59 minutes of Nyan Cat on a loop. I think it might cap out there.
We should talk about PlayStation.
You mean the VR?
Well, no. Specifically, apparently, mods are now available in Fallout for PlayStation.
Mods?
Yeah,
welcome to the 1990s consoles!
Apparently, the PS4
I found a 596.5 hour long YouTube video.
Nice.
No, apparently, Sony have changed their minds.
Really?
Rather than being, backward dicks about it.
It was a bit of a PR issue for them. A lot of people were very upset.
Oh, that was an hour ago. I've not heard about the fucking thing.
It's going to launch... Skyrim's going to launch with them as well. We and Sony have worked hard to make this possible. Really. It's just Sony didn't, email you sheepishly after the whole PR disaster going, we're open to this now.
Yeah, we've changed our minds slightly.
Yeah. Ugh. Not so bad.
Though it is limited, isn't it?
What do you mean it's limited?
You won't, because they, the PS4, I'm not sure if this is true for Xbox One or not, but the PS4 will not be able to upload any external assets with their PS4 mods. They just have to recycle what's already in the game.
What's the
same with the Xbox.
point?
And I'm not sure if that's true for Xbox One or not.
I think it is, yeah. So I think anything that changes, any UI changes or any sort of utility mods or anything like that will be fine. But anything that literally adds new stuff,
which is kind of a shame because the most commonly used mods are things like retexture work to improve textures. Those are the mods that are most commonly used by everyone.
I suppose on a console though, you wouldn't really want something like that, would you?
Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to risk slowing it down further.
I want to point out, I've been playing Fallout 4 Survival recently. And even on my system, I had to turn the mods off, but even on my system, just normally, there's just some bits in sort of the central Boston area that just run at 20.
I just don't like modding Fallout 4. I don't care about modding Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas because they break all the time anyway, but Fallout 4 has quite remarkable good levels of stability. So I don't want to jeopardize that by bringing mods into it. I'm happy with it being as stable as it is and having only 3 crashes in 300 hours.
If anything, the worst things that's happened is I've died twice in survival so far because I've ran past a car.
Oh yeah, the car physics can occasionally kill you. You always have to give the cars a wide berth on survival mode.
Yeah. Well, the 2 times that happened and I lost an hour of progress, it's fine.
Got to give those cars a wide berth. Seriously, you get a slight cut in your leg in the post-apocalypse and rust gets in there, you're done.
That's it, yeah.
You're absolutely done. That infection sets in fast.
All those bullet holes now.
Yeah.
Nothing. Car cut. Fucking car cut. And PlayStation VR.
I'm quite nervous at the moment, guys. Because you haven't mentioned Hitman yet.
Oh yeah, sorry, Hitman kept coming out this last week. That's still coming out. Actually, I don't think I haven't announced anything on the trailer. There's been a new elusive target. I don't think there's been any
No, nothing.
No. Maybe we should check in with Square Enix and make sure they're okay.
Well, they're about to release all the games, so...
Shit, let me email her. Is Hitman alive? Is Agent 47 still okay? Okay. Sent.
But yes, the PSVR, which appears to be gathering some fairly positive reviews so far.
I mean, it's a sort of mid-range VR.
Yeah, though admittedly, all of the footage I've seen basically seems to be. I mean, I'm not sure what the launch lineup is off the top of my head, but from all the footage I'm seeing, it just seems to be a old man mustache stroking simulator. Because I just keep seeing people stroking an old man's face over and over again.
Here's a suspicious thing, though, right? They keep talking about a lot of exclusives, but I saw the other day that a trailer for I think it was Sports Bar VR.
Yeah.
Now, Sports Bar VR, it is Pool Nation VR. It's exactly the same game. It's the exact same bar from that Pool Nation VR. It's the exact same game.
Okay.
Actually. Identical in every way, aside from the fact they've got skee ball in there now, which I think the PC version has now as well.
Everything has skee ball.
I think it's actually identical. It's got the dots. It's the same. It's exactly the same map. It's identical. But it's got a different name. And I think slightly different features. To the point where they can consider that an exclusive. Because it's a different game, technically. And
they will!
I'm worried. How much are they doing that? I mean, the games. I'm a bit annoyed because they've got like 80. They've released an 80 title lineup, which a lot of exclusives, which I really fucking hate. Really hate exclusives in VR, especially. In a kind of a really kind of small and niche growing product, like exclusives are gonna.
See, I was kind of excited in the PSVR, and then the reviews came out today, and a lot of people said it gives you a little bit of nausea, and I'm like, nope.
It's just DK2, isn't
Can't be dealing with it. Like, the Vive is absolutely
DK2
fine,
is
but
shit-looking.
anything lower than the Vive is just like Vomit City. I just can't deal.
I couldn't even deal with the Vive if the control system's not right.
Yeah.
The control system needs to be right. None of this push a button to move forward bullshit.
The amount of people that I've seen play games on that PSVR where it's like the whole world's moving around you and you're staying still, that makes me feel ill in VR.
Oh,
I can't deal with that.
I can't deal with that.
Or the ones where the camera gets taken away from you, and I'm like, no, you don't do that. That's the worst thing. That's VR 101.
Job Simulator is launching on PSVR.
Oh, that's good, because that's the best
Except
VR game.
it's called Work Simulator, and they retextured the toaster in one of the levels, so it's an exclusive now.
Well, interestingly, apparently, Keep Talking No One Explodes is launching on it as well. I'm wondering, I remember on PC, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes, like VR, you can't use the controllers. You have to just use a normal controller for some reason.
Some of the games do that. It's generally the ones that feel a little bit rushed. There's a game called The Assembly, which is a brilliant idea, but except it's a big kind of go around story narrative explory thing. But you open desks to go through documents, but it's all done with a controller in your hands and you're looking around. So if you want to open a drawer, you have to look at it to the center of your vision and push a button on the controller and the drawer just opens itself. Which totally misses the whole tactile point of VR, which is a real shame.
There's Volume Coda, which is just a volume DLC, I think, for VR. But all it is it's a volume level in front of you, 3D and holographic. It doesn't add anything. I don't get it.
It's just an experience thing for people who've never done VR before.
A lot of it seems like that.
Which is
but I'm
fine.
worried-
That's fine as a tech demo starting point for people who... Because it is... The first time you do VR is pretty special.
Yeah.
The first time I turned on the Vive and you just do the little orientation where you've got the balloons in the massive open area and whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Incredible.
mind-blowing.
It's
I'm just
still
wor-
pretty fucking mind-blowing.
I'm just worried that you're gonna have people playing something like that fucking Eagle Flight game from Ubisoft, which is just not a good experience at all. And people are gonna get put off. That's my worry. I'm worried people are gonna get put off by some of this shit. There's a Psychonauts fucking PlayStation VR. What?
Yeah, it takes place between Psychonauts 1 and 2.
Why are they getting all these fucking cool VR games and we're not?
It's
Mike
probably going to be
Biffle's
terrible.
next game is exclusive to VR, but it's exclusive to Google's... Whatever bollocks Google's VR is.
Huh. Trackmania VR.
Oh, no! Jesus.
I know, but terrible.
Jesus, I fucking love Trackmania, but that's not a game I'd play in VR.
There's Batman VR, which I really want to play.
Yeah, it's apparently super short, but really good.
I know. I just, I want to be Batman. Damn it.
You'll never be back.
Yeah, there's a lot of games I haven't heard of, but there's a lot of like big name franchise here. There's there's the Star Wars X-Wing VR mission, which sounds good.
Yeah.
Like I remember in the DK2 I got a game which was just an X-Wing. It was just the battle for the Death Star from the episode 6, and it was just you were in an X-Wing,
Ooh.
and just flying around. You can look behind you, and R2's there, and he makes noises when you look behind you, and that was amazing.
Sorry, Matt. Not to call you out on being a fake geek girl or anything, but did you just say the battle in episode 6? You looked behind you in space, and R2 was there.
Yeah.
Because I think you'll find R2 was down, on the planet with C-3PO and Han and Leia.
I think you'll find that it was an unlicensed fan game.
Well, clearly, fan is in inverted commas there if they think flipping R2-D2 is up in space during the flipping Battle of Endor.
Kill yourself, John.
Sorry, who's flying this X-Wing? Is it Obi-Wan Kenobi with R2-D2 in the back? Is C-3PO his co-pilot?
Did John Cena just walk in the room? Because I think we just witnessed a SmackDown.
I mean, I would like to point out that I actually don't really give a shit about Star Wars.
Neither do I, really.
Because, of course, if we have the much better space set
Star
thing.
Trek.
Star Trek, yes. Star Trek, the superior star show.
Yeah, and stars in their eyes. Da 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 da.
Tonight, Matthew, I'm going to be me.
Just go in the smoke thing, just come back out. Right, Matthew, I'm going to be allergic to smoke. Walk in the thing, die. That seems like a sketch from the 1980s.
Just walk in, you'll see a collapse.
I can almost see Lenny Henry doing that bit. That actually seems like the Lenny Henry show's perfect bit. Anyway. Yeah. Oh, fuck. The PSVR is apparently shitty because it's going to make me feel sick. So I was going to get one.
It's had some pretty good reviews. People seem genuinely quite positive about it. And as
Something-
it's got a low entry point, I think it could potentially swim a lot of people around.
£700.
Well, no, it's 350.
If you have the console, they said this about the fucking phone. You gotta have a PC.
Which a lot
for it.
of people have.
Yeah, in fairness, it is like, assuming you have the console, it's so much cheap. Like, also, the thing that I've just noticed that's really cool about the PSVR that I forgot, in that it actually it can track a normal PlayStation controller as well.
Yeah, because the
in
dumb
VR.
fucking light on the back of it, which is a
It's
pain.
dumb, but I like that you can see it.
Here's a question. How many people aren't going to buy that because they want to buy a PS4 Pro, which comes out like a month later?
I don't know.
Because the PS4 Pro is a little
see.
bit more expensive than it.
I
Have they
think
shot
this is
themselves
a
in the
good-
foot by releasing £700 of kit in the space of a month?
I think the audiences are going to be different, though, aren't they?
Yeah. I think this is going to be a really good entry drug for VR. This is going to get a lot of people
No, it
in
is,
because I
it
think
is.
it's a decent entry price point for VR. A lot of people are going to play it. I think this is really good, but I really wish it was better quality and smoother and bigger and had nice little ways that I could interact with things in my hands. And oh, look, there's a Vive over there. I think this is going to indirectly help out the Vive a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to point out with the PlayStation VR as well, that £350 price point is just for the headset. It doesn't include the Move controllers.
Yeah.
Which I think are pretty thingy, but as I say, since the main controller can be tracked, you can still, vaguely interact with stuff in VR by moving the controller around and actually picking stuff up with the sort of actual normal PlayStation controller, which isn't as good as the Move controllers.
And a PSVR controller is kind of the same shape as a Batarang, so you could throw it at people for the proper Batman experience.
Yeah.
And and better for Sony. That would mean you'll probably need to keep buying more PS4 controllers.
Hang on.
Something like 350.
Swift. It reads the light on the back of the controller. Right? You use the camera, and then that reads the light. That's how the VR works, yeah?
It works the same way the sort of Move controllers do.
Yeah.
I don't think it reads the light. I think there's IR sensors in it.
No, they literally physically see the big bright circles. Like that's a big thing with the Move. Is it literally is just tracking 2 massive points of light.
Oh.
That's why they're just big circle balls on top of it, because that's the cheapest, easiest way of doing it.
Right.
So if it's doing that for the PlayStation, but you can use PlayStation controller, does that mean if you turn around, you can't do VR? You can only do VR if your PlayStation controller is pointing towards wherever you put the camera.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it?
We were supposed, given like PSVR is kind of supposed to be seated anyway. I guess the idea is you're supposed to be mostly sitting in a static seat.
But you say it's going to be seated, but you've got games like Job Simulator on it. Job Simulator.
Yeah, Job Simulator is a walkie roundy game.
You turn around. I mean, you are stood still mainly, but you do turn around. You like, you know. I mean, yeah. Some games like the X-wing one, stuff like that. Yeah, fair enough. But a lot of these games do involve you turning around and moving around. And
tell me more about this X-wing game. Do you have to take out the Borg cube?
Oh my god, Kelly.
X-wing can't take out a Borg. You fucking idiot.
Enough X-wings could. They've got they've just got proton torpedoes. They'll go straight through the shields.
Proton torpedoes.
Yeah, proton torpedoes.
You actually physically hurt me there.
No, that's what they have in Star Wars. They have proton, not photon.
Yeah.
They do.
Uh-huh.
That's true.
Someone in the chat says that Jim Sterling said that turning around is his biggest complaint with PlayStation VR because of the tracking. So yeah,
so it is a problem. Okay.
Stop tracking.
So it's not okay. Okay. Well, I've had a look on Amazon. The PSVR is.
Apparently it still tracks the headset when you turned around, but not the controllers.
Yeah, because the headset's got lights on the back. The PSVR box doesn't seem to come with. It comes with a big noisy machine that you got to plug it into, apparently, which is like a processor.
Yeah.
But the PlayStation camera is sold separately but required.
Oh.
So it's £350. You need to add the camera on, which is £40, and the controllers, which are £70. So it's actually £460.
Even then, it's still a lot cheaper than the Vive.
Yes, but it's massively
I know it's a worse
inferior
experience
for only an extra few
it
hundred
is.
quid.
Well, you say that, but you're running it on a PS4, which is only £300.
But again, if you're a console person, you're
computer.
largely doing that because it's more efficient, etc., etc. Or you don't have the money for it. If you don't have the money for that, if you've got the money for that, you're going to go for the PS4 Pro or for that, which you're not going to use as often, and the PS4 Pro you probably get more use out of.
Plus, like, as time goes on, you're going to need one hell of a beast PC to keep up with VR games on PC.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'm probably going to basically have to buy a new PC for Fallout 4 VR.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the plan. I'm probably going to buy a new PC next year ahead of Fallout 4 VR and go up to, like, the 1080.
Oh, yeah. Someone in the chat just said, I think PSVR will be like Kinect. No one wants to develop games exclusive with things like that when you could develop normal games where a lot of people would be able to buy your game. I think that holds true a little bit, but it's not like Kinect because Kinect was really niche and no one liked using it.
I don't know, I think people would want to... I mean, like, if you've got a game that uses a controller with you sitting down and the controller doesn't need to be tracked like a driving game, you could easily put that on the Vive and the Rift and the PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, relatively easily.
Actually, you know the other thing I actually... For Fallout 4 VR, the thing I actually got to try out at EGX this year was, what's it called? A Whiz Disc Rover, something. I don't know, imagine a name out of Robot Wars and it's probably that. It's this one of those things where you stand on in the middle of a... Like, basically, you stand inside a Dalek. You stand inside a wireframe Dalek and slide your feet around in order to run in VR while standing still.
Oh, right, one of those things, yeah.
Yeah, one of those. And they'd actually hacked it into the existing build of Fallout 4.
Neat.
It was really interesting, but like right now, because like it was the existing version of Fallout 4, so it wasn't meant to work with the technology. Basically, you moving your feet just corresponded to like pushing on the analog stick. So if you were moving your feet slowly, you'd walk, you'd be pushing forward. So your direction was determined by which way your head was facing. So you couldn't run forward while looking sideways. You could only run forward. So they hadn't quite got it all the kinks yet. But it's a really interesting idea.
Using these like VR treadmill things.
If they can get it properly working with Fallout 4 VR, I might actually be willing to buy one of those next year.
But the problem is, like, you're running around in VR, but then it's like, how do you jump?
You press whichever button on the Vive controllers corresponds to jump. There's very little jumping in Fallout 4, really.
Oh my god, I jump all the time. I jetpack around the place
I jump all the time as well, yeah.
I'm a jetpacker. I never stop jetpacking. Jetpack forever.
And what were you going to say?
Oh, no, 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 no.
Oh, damn.
Jetpack and jetpack.
What were you going to say that wasn't Jetpack?
That a lot of people are like, oh, well, I want to get Vive when proper games come out for it, but I want shit like Job Simulator. I think that's a great VR experience. That's it. That's like 4 or 5 hours of insanity and great VR, and it's really funny and it's enjoyable to do. I want that. I want more of that.
I was saying apparently it's not one of the launch titles anymore, and it's a real shame that it isn't.
Yeah,
I feel
they
like that is
sucked it
the
out.
gold standard.
That is absolutely.
You got some like really. You got like a mediocre, like just stand in the middle and shoot thing coming out your game. Just loads of on the fucking Vive.
Yeah.
Loads of them.
No, that zombie game is well reviewed.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a pretty good one, but it's still just the same fucking game as all the others, isn't it?
Yep.
And then there's that. This one. It has apparently it's a very good one, but I haven't actually tried it. I need to. But yeah, I think Job Simulator is the gold standard, and they need to. I'm very excited for Squanch Tendo's stuff.
Yes.
Because that is that's William. I can't pronounce his name. Guy from Stanley Parable.
Justin
One of the
Rowland.
guys from Stanley Parable. It's Justin Rowland and one of the guys from Stanley Parable.
William Hugh.
Huh.
William Puff.
Yeah, I met him.
William Jeff.
He's nice.
The guy. Yeah, I know the guy.
He has very crazy hair, crazier than mine. He's very tall.
Oh.
Hmm.
Oh. Did you see that? Hang on. Here's actual news. I like how it says we're a gaming talk show, when really we're not. But here's actual news.
Kind of.
Did you see that the Call of Duty Modern Warfare remaster requires the Infinite Warfare disc to play? So to stop people just buying Infinite Warfare and then selling it on to get a hold of the remaster, they are meaning that you actually have to download Modern Warfare. It's download only. It downloads and then you have to have the disc in to be able to play it.
It's not the worst thing. The worst thing is having to play 2/3 of the entire Homefront: The Revolution campaign just to get to Time Splitters 2.
You did that.
Was it worth it?
Yes, Time Splitters 2 is love and joy, and seeing it actually running at a higher frame rate and a higher resolution than it's ever been at before is lovely.
Yeah, but John, you sounded like a broken man.
Yeah, but I sound so much happier in the Time Splitters 2 video.
Like you just. I think that was the first time I've heard you swear.
I censored it out with a motorcycle horn.
You did, but you.
Like I wasn't.
You
That
were
wasn't
so
even like a
pissed off.
joke I was planning later. That was literally just me like sitting there, like just thinking, God, I hate this. Why is
Like
this?
this game is fucking shit, and I was like, oh,
me
John,
being quite in the
calm
background
down.
was literally me getting up to go to computer to turn off the recordings. That's like, I can't do any more of this today. I'm going to have to go to bed and do this tomorrow. Oh God, why? That was amazing.
Oh,
But no, it was worth it because even though it's only 2 levels, it's beautiful, and the Chicago level is just wonderful.
why won't game developers just go? Okay, everyone wants a remaster of this game.
Yeah, here's a HD remaster of Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters Future Perfect bundled together on Steam.
Thing is,
Done.
they could easily make as much money off that as they would off the other game. They don't need to sell the other game. They could just sell both games.
Yeah, I feel like if they just sold that, they'd made a lot more money than they
Quick
did on
point.
Home
The
Front
probably
Revolution.
reason they're not doing Time Splitters is who the fuck even owns the rights to Time Splitters anymore?
Well, presumably Deep Flipping Silver, given they put it in Homefront: The Revolution.
Well, here's the interesting thing. They might only own the rights to the old ones and not the current name because they were brought out. I think you were brought out by Crytek, so Crytek technically own the license.
But Crytek don't exist anymore.
Crytek UK do.
Ugh.
So they probably
I
have the
thought
future
they-
license, whereas the other ones have the license to the old stuff. So it's a big
Yeah, but the
split
old stuff's
message
the only
thing.
one people want. People just want the old stuff. Just relaunch the old stuff with a bit polished up.
You see, but the real question lies in why the fuck haven't EA remastered The Sims 1 yet?
And who the fuck owns the right to Eternal Darkness? Where the fuck is Eternal Darkness HD? And Skies of Arcadia 2, that was announced years ago and it never went anywhere. I hate everything.
Even more than that, why the fuck is Beyond Good and Evil 2 only in pre-production? Like, they've announced that it's sort of maybe kind of in pre-production. Like, there's a guy working on it and he's put out loads of
Yeah, but that's like The
stuff.
Last Guardian. It's a joke that's never going to happen.
Last Guardian is only 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, fuck. It's a while away. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
Beyond Good and Evil is
Beyond Good and Evil 2, and Half-Life 3, and The Last Guardian all just hang out together in a room somewhere.
Well,
It's the
with
room
Final
where the
Fantasy
cake
15.
is kept.
It's with Final Fantasy 15. But Beyond
Final
Good and
Fantasy 15,
Evil...
I have more belief. I'm more confident that will get out because they've launched a lot of Final Fantasy games in the past. So, they've got form launching
This one was
those.
originally for the first era of the PS3. But no, so Beyond Good and Evil, so they've basically said it's in pre-production, and the guy, the artist has put out some art of these animal.
You know
people
what?
things, and
I
it looks
cannot
just like
wait.
it. And then this week,
cannot wait for-
Ubisoft have announced that Beyond Good and Evil is free on PC.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking they're going
That's
to
a
build
point,
up
actually.
hype, and then next week announce it.
Ubisoft, they've been giving away free games for months. They give away The Crew for free.
Yeah, I saw that.
I still haven't played
Oh, speaking of free games,
Take advantage of that.
if you are a PS Plus person, do not miss the fact that in October you're getting the Resident Evil 1 HD remake.
Miss it. Miss that
God.
horror.
What? That's
Oh.
good.
That game
The Resident Evil
killed my
HD remake
DS.
is one of the best
Killed
ones.
my DS. My original DS. I had the Resident Evil 1. I never played it. I got through the dog bit. I was like, this is fine. And then a giant spider dropped from the ceiling. And I
the spiders in
threw my DS across the room. Because I just thought
But
it had dropped onto my hands. And I
But
was like,
this is, yeah.
and it broke. And I was so sad.
This is an even more nicer, polished up version of the GameCube remake of the original PS1 version, so they've changed a few bits, but it's genuinely very, very good game.
See, I've genuinely got some good news about PlayStation Plus.
Uh-huh.
My subscription has finally expired and I don't have to pay for it anymore. Yay!
But you want to do PSVR, you need PlayStation Plus for that.
Yeah, but then I'd have to buy a PlayStation VR and I'd have to turn my PlayStation on.
I like
You know, I moved
PlayStation
it-
and something. Yeah, you're right. I don't think I've ever used it.
I moved here 6 months ago and I put it in my TV thing, but I literally haven't turned it on since I've moved here.
My PS4 comes on a lot more often than my Xbox One. And I think that's because the PS Plus stuff is consistently better than games with gold.
My PS2 is the only console that I really have on for anything, for gaming-related reasons. Because
I do the occasional
I've
thing that
actually-
I get free from PS Plus, and I do generally believe PS Plus is a lot better than the games with gold.
I think the thing is with especially older consoles is that, on the new consoles most stuff is just on PC now. And it's better. And why not? If it's on PC, why not just fucking play it on the goddamn PC where God intended?
Yay! God!
Where God intended.
I ran out of things to say there, Matt. Did you notice?
Speaking of God,
Oh, God.
I don't have anywhere for this to go. It just seemed that logical thing to say at that point.
Speaking of God, Peter Molyneux... No, you're right, nothing.
I have something that's not gaming news I'd like to talk about.
Okay.
We're in the gaming news bit of the
Yeah,
show,
fuck,
Matt.
you missed that.
You had like an hour and a half to do non-gaming news. All right.
I'm trying to bring it up.
You are like the kid who said they didn't need to go to the bathroom, and then 20 minutes after we set off.
Look, right, vice presidential debates.
No!
No, veto.
Veto.
No,
No,
shut
right,
up.
no, no.
Speaking
Cut
of
his mic.
veto, Mafia
Ah,
3...
fuck you.
Yep.
Yeah, that one works. Mafia 3 is nearly... In fact, should we have a look at game releases? Where's the game releases?
Yeah,
2016.
Mafia 3.
What's that page?
I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to say I've played it.
You're pretty sure? I haven't fucking played it. I like Mafia
I'm
2.
moderately confident I'm allowed to say I've played it.
Releases coming out. 2K17 is next week. WWE 2K17.
Is this this week?
It is. Apparently, it's the 11th. Yeah.
I'm trying to find that page that I use. I really should bookmark it. It's super useful.
Metal Gear Solid 5: The Definitive Experience is launching.
Yeah, you do want to know the definitive existence of that game? Don't play it. Just ignore it.
Yeah. Shadow Warrior 2 is launching in next week as well.
Yeah, that's true.
That's really going to be really good.
Am I the only one excited for Dragon Quest Builders on Friday?
No, you're not.
No.
I'm fucking stoked for that shit.
Yeah, that looks fucking good.
It looks. It's like Minecraft but with a point.
Yeah, with focused Minecraft
Building
with
a
actual bits
town?
of quest and stuff.
Fucking
yes,
in. I am
precisely.
In.
I'm all
100%
over that. My only problem with Minecraft has always been I felt like it's a little bit too lacking in focus.
Yep.
I like it better.
I'm
Gears
in.
of War 4 don't give a shit.
I have a review code for that, but I don't have anything to play it on.
I don't have review code for that, and I'm not sure I want it. And I'm not sure if anyone wants to see me play it because when they gave me Halo 5, I wasn't very nice to it, and everyone was upset with me.
I'd like to point out I spent a lot of time and effort trying to get in contact with someone from Microsoft because Dan said he got an Xbox One. Then I finally got him codes. He went, oh yeah, it's not here yet.
Yeah, I wanted a 2 terabyte one, but it takes forever to get here, and it doesn't really exist. So,
Yeah.
why would I want a 1 terabyte? It's the modern days, guys. Get with the program. Come on, terabyte me.
Yeah, but no, you know why 1 terabyte would be fine? Because there's an Xbox One, you'll only be playing 3 things.
Yeah, but I'm going to download 3 Blu-ray movies, and then that'll be it. That'll be it full. It'll be full forever. Yeah, all the games now kind of come out. Like, this is the point when all the games come out.
Yeah, I think it's right now on the 21st of October. Unless things have shuffled around, we've got Battlefield 1, Civilization 6, and Return to Arkham are all coming out the same day.
No, are you forgetting?
Arkham
You're forgetting,
got put back,
John, about Gwent, the Witcher card game.
I'm sorry.
I thought
Sorry.
Arkham got put back.
Oh, it might have done. My list may be slightly out of date.
Put back. It is Battlefield 1, and then... wait, hang on.
Guys, you're missing the big
Battlefield
one, though.
1.
You're missing the big one. On the 25th...
No, it's not Farming...
Farm
no.
Simulator 2017!
Just make sure you can get that done in 3 days in time for Titanfall 2 and Skyrim Special Edition.
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2.
I didn't really want a Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 because I enjoyed 1, but like, I kind of felt like I did it. Like, they're not going to be telling a story now. Like, I never care about the story. I just enjoyed the thing, and then, yeah.
Don't forget Serious Sam VR. That actually looks good.
Oh, shit. There's a PlayStation Vita. There's 2 PlayStation Vita games launching. 3.
What's a Vita?
What? 4. No, there's 4 launching.
Dragon Quest Builders is on Vita, isn't it?
No, there's,
It's on PS4 too.
Wait, shit, guys,
Let's
when's
see,
my
the-
game
the-
coming out?
Tokyo Twilight Ghost Hunters Daybreak Special Gigs is launching.
Yeah,
on
that's some
PlayStation
Japanese
Vita.
bullshit I don't care about.
Yeah.
That's an RPG.
What, is anything coming out related to Need for Speed?
World of Final Fantasy launching on PlayStation Vita.
Oh shit, we've got
Root
Planet
Letter.
Coaster November 15th, so everything after
Active
that I
Soccer.
don't care about. Even though there is Final Fantasy 15, Watch Dogs 2, Bridge Crew, Gravity Rush 2,
Dishonored
the
2.
new South Park game. Dishonored 2 comes out on the
South
11th.
Park
I'm going
game.
to try and get that finished before Planet Coaster comes out.
There's so many things. Why can't they, like, it's such a fucking dry period.
Christmas!
Release some things there.
Yeah, Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Then there's Watch Dogs 2. And then there's Star Trek Bridge Crew, which we are going to play.
Well, some stuff is already started to drop out. Like Siberia 3's already dropped into next year, and so has Ghost Recon Wildlands. That's dropped out of this year.
Well, who gives... There's already enough.
They've put that out by months.
Dishonored 2, Final Fantasy 15. Killing Floor 2.
No one mentioned Football Manager 17, the most important launch of all.
That's PES fucking 17. isn't
Lol,
it?
PES
Ooh.
on PC is the Xbox 360 version.
Ooh. Ooh. Wait, I'm looking at a list of games releases, right? And I've got, then, after, like, the 19th of the 12th, it's... Which Ark launches on Xbox One.
Oh, is it
and Last
finished?
Guardian launches before that. But, oh, Gravity Rush 2 is coming out.
Yeah,
The
fuck,
second
I forgot about that. Yeah, no, I just said that, but I'm stoked.
But I'm looking, right, and it gets to a point where it stops giving dates in just 2016, right, when it doesn't have a date for it, which is any game that's been announced 2016. And one of the games announced 2016 here is Crackdown 3.
Ha!
Yeah, right.
Wrong!
Yeah.
Using the power of the cloud, we've got 3 servers per person, and apparently we're going to print money making this game
The
somehow.
most recent news on that is from the 4th of the 8th, 2015. Screenshots from Gamescom.
Looking good.
Ghost money.
Like, what the fuck is happening with Crack? Is it just not... They're just giving up now on it? Is that it?
Maybe it was kind of like a bit No Man's Sky and all of it was fake and none of it was real.
Yeah, but that's what, like, is this what's going to happen with sort of like fucking Beyond Good and Evil 2? Like, they announce it and then nothing ever.
Yeah,
They never mention it again.
pretty much.
Because, like, they made a big deal about Crackdown 3, and you know what? I would have totally bought an Xbox One for Crackdown 3 because I fucking love Crackdown.
I would have done that if they hadn't gone, yeah, we're using cloud, and this time it's literally magic. It's technological magic, and you'll get several servers per game just dedicated to you.
No, yeah, it's bonkers bananas, floopty-floopty, but it still looked interesting, having the full building destruction and all that shit.
Yeah, and you can like knock down a building if you're not in a really tall building, like it falls over sideways and it falls down so far it will actually drop into someone else's server next door and crush them. Be awesome.
No, it looked good, but like, did you say? Oh, it's coming out in 2016. Nothing. I've mentioned it ever.
Yep.
Hang on, Google it. Crackdown 3. Arriving 2017. Oh no, they've changed the date now.
Oh, and speaking
June
of
apparently
Guys,
failure,
sorry, I've had to delay my game. That's what all the cool kids are doing. My game's
What?
delayed. 6
Boo.
years.
What?
6 years.
Oh, it's supposed to come out on the 19th. What was it? What date? Was
Yeah,
it?
you all forgot. So 2022 now.
No, hang on,
Dan's
I've got it in my
got it in the
calendar. Dan's game is
The 9th of
down
December.
for December the 9th.
Yeah.
2022, guys. Sorry.
And
Still,
speaking of
guys, in December,
failure, Cluster Truck came out, Matt.
Yay!
You have brought great shame on us all.
I did actually complete that.
Great, yeah, but
You know, I'm going to
slowly.
ruin the illusion.
Yeah, mate,
I
I'm gonna
saw
ruin
your failure.
I like Matt was
I know,
tweeting that I gave up on a level when I just had to stop playing because I didn't have any more time.
Oh, I know, yeah.
Matt was like,
Oh,
look
yeah.
at Dan's giving up. And I was like, alright, bitch. And then I just like finished it and then tweeted a picture like, Matt, because when I played it, Matt had done all the levels except the last one. I was like, oh Matt, is this too hard for you?
No, oh, fucking right. I
was
did a
good.
fucking live stream on that. Like, I spent 40 minutes on that level, just like progressively. Like, it was what I should have done in the Henderson Challenge video. Progressive, like being really calm, like fully, and progressively getting worse. Like, the fucking curve was a lot better.
Hang on a
I
second.
like that.
Cluster. Ladies and gentlemen, live right now, I'm going to boot this game up and finish the last level.
What?
Yep. I mean, you won't see anything.
Whoa.
Watch it fuck your recording up or
It's
something.
going to totally fuck my recording up. But I've clicked play, so we're in this now.
So is this
I
actually
really
going to be
like
on
that,
stream?
actually.
No.
I was fan of the
No one's
stream.
going to see this shit.
Well, this is not good television.
Yeah, I'm like a
not
ventriloquist
television,
on the
it's a
radio,
podcast.
but it's fine.
Yes, pretty much.
Most people listen to this
Alright,
on like
we ready?
trains and shit.
Abilities.
If you're on a train now, I'm watching.
Boosty jump. And slow down time. Here we go.
The hell is this? The fuck is happening?
I want to point out, I think it's
Hang
a
on, I'm
testament
just
to
gonna
how
also.
well, like,
I'm also. You're not
Hang on,
gonna
I've dodged
decide,
his big first attack. I've dodged the crashing one.
But I'm actually going to start playing Cookie Clicker right now.
I'm up his arm.
I'd like to point out, right, I think it's a testament to how good I am at pretending to be angry that, like,
Over.
People
Boosting.
thought
Going
I'd
back
killed
over his
him.
shoulder.
Resident Evil 4. Oh shit, press X to not die! Press X to not die! Press X to not die!
it's evolved a bit, hasn't it?
Boom! First damage done. Right, now I'm basically going to boost right to the first guy by jumping back over his head. Which is a shortcut I learned.
It's ridiculous.
Okay, here we go. Waiting. That's the boost. Going. Up his arm again. Cush D. Oh, fucked it. Fuck! God damn, I was so close.
But I fucking love the game because it gives you that, and I don't feel cheated whenever I feel
No,
like
I'm
that.
kidding. I was just typing letters while having a notepad open.
Just for equal opportunities, I'm now going to provide some controller clicking. There you are. There's some.
What control does that?
That is an Xbox 360 standard controller.
Okay, well I'm gonna get an extra.
You can't recognise the clicking of the left and right button. It's a very distinctive noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new game called Guess That Console / Controller. Right, guys, listen, shush. You gotta guess this. Ready? What's this?
That is the left or right trigger of a PS4 controller.
No.
Left or right shoulder button of a GameCube controller.
No. I'm gonna.
That had a bit of a
I'm
spring
gonna
in
do
it.
another bit of the controller here. Oh.
Oh.
Now you gotta listen very carefully for these last ones. Could barely hear it. Very soft. Very soft.
It's
shoulder
got
buttons.
some form of like analog. It's got some form of like button that's not just 1-0. It's got some form of like. So it's got to be GameCube or later.
Wrong.
What? Mm-hmm. The only thing that had depressing buttons other than that was what, the PS2?
No.
Why was that depressing buttons? Because that first one sounded like depressing shoulder buttons, like shoulder triggers or something.
Name the controller, you can do it, yeah. Well, name the console, not name the controller. Name the console. Do-do-do-do-do. Hang on, I'm gonna go
Sega
get round 2.
Genesis.
No. Close though.
Sega Mega
No way.
Drive.
Oh,
No.
I think some people got it in the. Was it a Steam controller? Oh, damn.
I'm gonna do it again, right? It has 5 buttons.
Total or just
5 buttons total. On the well, it has like etc. buttons, but the main buttons. That's a very good squeak you've got going on there.
Thank you. That's my older PS. That's my
5?
older Xbox 360 controller that's got a good bit of a
Wait,
squeak.
is that,
which
does that
is an
include
old
the
man.
D-pad or is that just
D-pad counts as 1 button.
Okay.
That's the D-pad doing its thing.
5
it's
buttons
just-
with a D-pad. The fuck? That's really
And no shoulder buttons.
Nope.
so older than the flipping SNES because pretty much everything after that point had shoulder buttons.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like the NES only had the 2 main. Well, actually, it might be a NES controller because if you include the start and select, is it a NES controller?
Nope. That's a sonic screwdriver.
Yep, well done. Good. Yep, 1 point for Dan.
Matt
Got a
Smith?
sonic screwdriver. Huh?
Matt Smith?
No, it's an old David Tennant.
Oh,
No,
this is a Vive controller.
That's not. That's Eccleston's one. Tennant never got his proper one.
Is it a Vive controller?
True, technically
No.
that is true.
Literally, not a single person has said what I'm holding in my hands.
Is it even a controller?
Technically.
Don't give me technically, Dan.
Is it a
Don't
toaster?
don't give me a fucking technically.
Well, it's got a D-pad on it.
Is it a toaster with a D-pad and 4 other buttons?
Nope.
Does it have does what you're holding have a frost setting or a defrost setting?
Nope. It has start, select, A and B, and a D-pad.
It's just a fucking NES controller.
An original Game Boy?
It's a Game Boy! Hey, Are you ready for round 2?
Oh, fucking
This
God.
one's going to
Yes.
be difficult. Okay, ready?
It's a pantomime horse.
Have a guess. You can do it if you
Do it
believe.
again, do it again.
It's got 40 buttons.
What?
I'm sorry.
It's
Oh, is it
your
a keyboard?
keyboard?
No. No, my keyboard is...
Well, no, but it's a different keyboard. No. I got 2 keyboards. I got so this keyboard which goes.
This is me. I'm having to hit the button so you can hear something.
I got this keyboard which goes.
This is not just a keyboard.
40 buttons.
40 buttons.
Did you count them?
No.
So is that a guess or is that like what you know to be true?
I know to be true. 40 buttons. Counted them that time.
Is it a keyboard of some description?
It's a console.
It's not an answer.
It's a console.
Is it a
Yeah, but
piano?
It's probably got some sort of keyboard functionality with 40 keys.
So. What?
The first key is blue. It's also edit and delete FN.
So it's a fucking like I said, it's fucking old computer.
Is this one? Is it the massive
Commodore, it's a
GameCube controller that had a
Spectrum.
keyboard built in? That was
God, no,
made
but I
for,
wish it was. That'd be great.
for Phantasy Star Online 2.
That would be great, but it's not. I'm putting it back over there now.
Actually, I'm pretty sure they didn't have a function key. That was just for typing.
I have a little statue of Ashens that, like, guards it. It's quite cute. Matt nearly said it and then stopped. Like he stopped.
I said ZX Spectrum or Commodore 64.
It's a ZX Spectrum!
So I said
You didn't
Spectrum.
say shit.
I said Spectrum. Fuck you.
Final round! Now
Oh,
this
God.
is a rare one. So, good luck, motherfuckers. Okay, let's do the buttons.
Okay, that sounds like a controller.
How many buttons?
Let's have a look, see. So, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13.
13 buttons on a controller
Does that
would be
include the
roughly
D-pad?
consistent with the old Sega controllers. They had a line of 3 and 3 plus a whole bunch extras. So Sega, Mega Drive, or Genesis?
No.
Does that include, like, does it have analog sticks?
If it had analog sticks, I wouldn't call them buttons.
So it does have analog sticks.
Maybe.
So you don't count the clicking in an analog stick as a button. Okay.
If the analog sticks click in, I'd count that as a button.
Okay, right. So, okay, because 13 is the exact amount of buttons then in that case an Xbox, like, One or Elite controller would have, or a 360 controller.
So is that your guess?
I'm guessing Elite controller.
Wrong!
I'm guessing sure default controller. Is it a fucking Steam controller?
No.
No one owns a Steam controller, Matt.
I do.
Both me and Dan do, and
there.
it's terrible.
It's covered in loads of dust. It's like dust specifically seeks it out.
Is it a PSP? PS Vita?
It's a PS Vita! The rarest of games consoles!
Oh, there you go.
I like that you got the ZX Spectrum faster. That makes me happy. Oh, I frown upon your knowledge of things. So that was a new section that we like to call Guess the Controller from the noises that it makes when I push the buttons.
It's never coming back, don't worry.
It was a test run, actually.
That was the pilot, it's not getting picked up.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that just Matt hasn't clicked record on this entire podcast. But we'll see.
You know, I do have a final bit of gaming news.
Well, let's wrap this up then with a final bit of gaming news.
Yeah, gaming news.
It's very exciting gaming news. A GTA 5 update came out. It's now got more bikes. That is the end of the GTA 5 gaming news.
And that's the end of the show! Let's give thanks to everyone, because together we can build a better
No, you're not doing this again. You're not doing this again.
Alright, fuck you all.
You're not.
Sorry, xenophobe, you Irish bastard.
Yep, fuck everyone who's not me. Good night, everyone!
Fuck all those guys.